who sought to impede law enforcement actions during that operation. The Department of Homeland Security, Drug Enforcement Agency, Border Patrol, and the FBI all took part in this operation. A new Margaritaville resort is coming to Orange Beach. Ground was officially broken this week at the wharf. The resort honors the legacy of Jimmy Buffett and will feature restaurants, a pool, cottages, condos, and hotel-style units. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk.
Hey, man.
Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money?
Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest.
You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist?
That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839.
I see.
Yes, he is our preferred money man.
The money man with the money plan.
You've been paying attention.
Well, could you give us those numbers one more time?
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man.
Oh, what's that?
I'm not an elk.
Not an elk, huh? Well then, pray tell, what are you?
Knights of Columbus.
I am not even going to make a comment.
Well, the baby liked it.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program here. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader in the studio with me. How you doing today, Eddie?
Pretty good. How you doing, bud?
Oh, life is good. Life is grand. It's great.
All right.
Just wonderful.
Yeah.
No, I'm in a mood today. I don't know what kind of mood, but I'm a little edgy.
You should be swayed?
Maybe I could be swayed. Maybe I could be convinced. I can always be tricked, as I've established. I can always be tricked.
Yeah. Places you shouldn't go, Joey.
That is true, but plenty coming up today with Trump continuing to travel overseas. The Supreme Court of the United States hearing about birthright citizenship, and it sounds like they're also talking about nationwide injunctions and the virtue of those. The Ketanji Brown Jackson, talking about the nationwide injunctions?
Yes.
At one point she goes, injunction.
Injunction.
I'm like, is she Cajun? I didn't know Justice Jackson was Cajun. Injunction.
I saw a little clip where Roberts had to ask, I think it was Sotomayor, to let the man finish the question. So it seems as if maybe a couple of them come in there with a little bit of bias already.
Oh, no, that's kind of just how the system works. Unfortunately, you also have the Pope speaking out on all things what we talked about yesterday, artificial intelligence.
Ooh.
We can definitely get to that. Vance and Rubio to attend Pope Leo XIV's inauguration. A lot of folks saying, warn the Pope, Vance is coming.
I was going to say, don't shake Vance's hand.
It is rumored. It's not confirmed, but it's rumored he killed the last one.
It's...
right, with those steely blue eyes.
Just keep your distance.
He stole the Pope's heart.
Don't look him in the eyes.
And said, well, I can go to heaven now. After those steely blues stared into Francis. Anyway, U.S. wholesale prices see biggest drop in 5 years. You've already got some jawing even before the meeting. Ukraine will never recognize occupied territories as Russia, says Zelensky from Turkey.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. And he's like, I'm seeing the Russian delegation. No, you're on the tarmac.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to scuttle this? Well, we know why.
Yeah.
It's war, and you don't want to just keep killing each other, right?
That's exactly right. It pays, baby.
Because that's what is really going to work. The White House has presented Iran with written nuke deal proposal and huge first. Trump signaling we might have something
good deal.
there. You have a bunch of eggheads, Yale specialists in fascism. They've left a Canada. The New York Times did a whole special video on them. And we also are seeing these eggheads, like academic types, saying that ChatGPT has destroyed learning. AI has destroyed learning. And the Pope's saying it's the Tower of Babel, potentially. And we'll see.
I know, and like you and your types, y'all use that a lot. And my generation, a little bit. I tap into it a little bit, but I just don't use it much because I've had it like interpret what I write.
Yeah.
It ain't me.
No, it cannot write for you.
Right. I mean, when I put up there, you can tell that I had someone else write this.
No, what I've done with it is I've taken, say, like 20 essays, and I say across essays, do a meta-analysis, not on any particular essay, but across essays. What's the rhetorical style, the voice? Are there common themes that are maybe implicit in the writer's content? And that's fantastic. It sort of is a mirror back to you that you don't normally see. And you can research with it very well. You can do all sorts of things. But I can't imagine a kid who's just like, hey, I just want Grok or ChatGPT to write my essay for me. And that's
to me,
not a good sign.
It's going to be so obvious. It's just like if I turned it in, they'd read it and go, Eddie, these some big words here, buddy.
Right.
It'd be obvious.
So we got plenty to get to today. Oh, and I also figured out today from watching a thing online.
Did some learning?
Yeah. Well, you know how you got to step aside. You can't just always center your voice as a cis white male.
Okay.
Especially a straight one.
Ooh.
If you're a hetero.
Yeah.
If you're cis.
Yeah.
If you're white.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to decenter your voice and your perspective and listen to others.
Okay.
You know, it's a little considerate. You listen to others, and I did that this morning.
How'd that work out for you?
Oh, I learned a thing. I learned that the reason a lot of black women are fat these days is because of Trump and racism. We'll get to that. Now, I'm not going to play the clip unless you decenter yourself.
Hold on now. Hold on. I want to make sure I got it clear.
Yes.
Fat black women, and you're saying black, not white, just fat black women.
Well, and this came from a fat black woman.
Is fat because of Trump and racism in general? Well, that's going to...
Trump is to blame for making black women fat.
Did she just get fat in the past couple of years?
I mean, you can get pretty fat since he's been on the scene.
Actually,
like the last 10 years he's been on the scene. I mean, the 10 years is a lot of time. You can put in the work. It's like, that's your tour of duty. And you're just nomming.
Not the worst tour of duty.
No, give me that fried shrimp.
Not the worst tour of duty. I'd take that.
No. Give me those tea cakes.
But I can't believe it's just because of Trump. It's like Trump telepathically sending her
But you're
signals to
already
eat.
pushing back. You just need to decenter yourself and accept it. All right? So this is why I'm prefacing this before we go to Erica Thomas here.
Okay.
Because I can already feel your little, like, rebellious, resentful, like, white perspective, all right?
I just have questions, Joey.
That's the problem. Shut up.
That's the problem. Not enough people speak up.
As Yosemite Sam said.
Yeah.
Shut up while you're shutting up, all right?
I'll say, okay, boy.
Right. And let's go to Erica Thomas. Hey, Erica, how are you doing today?
Hey, Joey. I'm really the worst person ever to be joining this conversation about obesity or fat people because I have zero sympathy for morbidly obese. I mean, zero.
How about slightly obese?
What? You're coming in with your science? You going to talk to me about a caloric deficit? What?
Yeah, I don't know if y'all saw it or not, but I did a story one time about a Miss Alabama, a type of Miss Alabama.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And it keeps retrending on the site.
Someone actually sent me that the other day and said, hey, is this the new Miss Alabama?
Yeah. It's like the story that will never die, and the reason why is because, I did that story. I don't believe in celebrating something that's unhealthy and deadly. You've seen these obese people go online and talk about how big and beautiful they are and how comfortable they are in their own skin, and then they die. I mean, like high-profile TikTokers and things like that. So yeah, I'm not a good person to join this conversation, but I will say there are some conditions like you can have medically that I understand make you a little larger. I gained a lot of weight after my back surgery last year, and that stuff you can't help, but I mean, you can help. You can stop yourself from eating 3 loaves of bread a day.
Right.
You know, like there's just things you can do to not be. But to blame it on Trump, that's an interesting one. That's not one I've heard.
Well, it does. You think you are the wrong person to ask about this because, again, it doesn't sound like you're decentering yourself, letting your presumptions, leaving them at the door, and listening to other people who might have, different lived experience than you.
Yes. I mean, I understand there are different lived experiences, but, I've also watched that 600-pound show where people are just constantly shoving their face and eating their feelings all day. Like, do something else, go outside,
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
There's so many morbidly obese humans on this planet, especially in the United States, especially in the South, and it's like there's only one excuse: you eat too much.
Now,
groundbreaking.
I have noticed that piece you wrote. What's the name? Sarah Milken.
Milliken, yes.
Milliken. See, every time I see it as Sarah Milken, I'm like, do they just drink right from the cow udder? Like, how do they feed the Milligans? But why does it retrend on the site? You wrote this like a year ago.
I really don't know. I mean, at least every 2 or 3 months it'll start trending, and not just a little trend, like a lot. One of our highest read stories, I think, of all time.
Wait, are you being cited by the fat activists?
I think, oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I've gotten my share of the emails, you shouldn't be so mean to fat people kind of stuff, and I'm like, I'm not being mean, I'm just saying the truth. So if the truth hurts, that's not my fault. Like, it is what it is. Like, don't celebrate something that can kill people and is killing people. Don't celebrate it. Just don't do it.
Well, I mean, we'll get to the clip in a second. I'm not going to play it for you because, again, it doesn't sound like you're in the mood. But Eddie, I'm praying for you to decenter yourself so we can actually hear the woman out. All right?
It might help if I have a peanut butter milkshake or something like that.
A milkshake?
Peanut butter one, yeah.
Peanut butter milkshake.
Well, I could relate better.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Let's do it with blizzards. Why not?
Ooh,
and
why
then
not?
Throw the kitchen sink in there.
Yeah, the M&Ms and everything.
Be like, we're decentering ourselves right now.
It'll take my mind off that fatty.
This is delicious. Can we get chili dogs, too, at the same time?
They bark at night. Be careful.
Anyway, you have one story that really caught my attention because it plays into a national story. Jay-Z files lawsuit in Mobile against rape accuser claiming defendant soullessly motivated by greed. Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. I wrote this earlier this week after this lawsuit came out. Lanyap was the first one to publish it, and then I looked it up. But basically, Jay-Z has 99 problems, and an Alabama woman is one of them.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. So this all goes back to an interview that some people might have seen, last year after P. Diddy was arrested. This other lady came out and said, well, P. Diddy and Jay-Z raped me 20 years ago after the MTV Music Awards. She was 13 years old at the time, she claimed. She went on NBC News and really just gave a detailed account of what happened to her and was crying and was really upset. Come to find out, it was all a lie. It was all completely made up. Like, for instance, she said her father came and picked her up after this happened, but her father said he didn't have any recollection of this at all. And it would have been a 5.5-hour drive one way from his home in Rochester to New York. So he said, I think I would have remembered that. That's probably something that would have stuck out in my mind. So that was one of the first things. And then she accused some other people of being there at the after party where she met Jay-Z, and that's including the Madden brothers. They weren't even there. They were on tour somewhere else in the world. So it all came out that she just absolutely made up all this stuff, and they believe the reason why she did that was because of the P. Diddy stuff coming out. She wanted to kind of insert herself into that to make some money.
Yep.
Because apparently her family had recently filed bankruptcy. She had lost her job and her children. So the prosecutors are actually, the plaintiffs are saying that they believe she did this as a money grab, and that this law firm out of Texas jumped on board with her and tried to help her out.
Yeah, and it is crazy because, I mean, some people do assume the worst of these rich and famous types who, what are y'all up to in your secret private rooms and parties and whatnot. But those folks attract all sorts of just fake allegations and lawsuits. There is almost a cottage industry of accusing people with plenty of money of awful, depraved things.
Yeah, I mean, it's let me get my piece of that controversy. And in the meantime, even though Jay-Z is this rich and famous rapper with a beautiful wife and beautiful family, he's still a person. He's still a human, and to accuse somebody of something like that, it's very malicious, very calculated. And so that's why the attorneys are saying, you just can't do this. Like, this is going to stop here. We're not doing this.
Now, shifting gears a little bit, it looks like Gulf Shores area is preparing for the Sand in My Boots Festival. They're already putting, this is replacing Hangout Fest, and they're already setting up the stages and whatnot?
Oh, I mean, this is happening now. It starts technically tomorrow. So the stages have been up for about a week now. There's so many people around here. I told my parents, I was like, I'm just going to get grocery delivery and stay indoors for the whole weekend. But actually, I'm not going to be able to do that because of my job. But the traffic's crazy. There's expecting to be 40,000 people here this weekend. This was a record-breaking sellout festival. It sold out within 90 minutes of going on sale last year. So, I mean, it's a lot of people, and this area is small. Gulf Shores is small. Small town, big beach is the thing they say. But the beach, thank goodness it's big, because this is a lot of people packed into a small area.
Who all's playing at the festival that's drawing such a crowd?
Well, I mean, it's Morgan Wallen, Sand in My Boots. So, obviously, Morgan Wallen. We've got Wiz Khalifa, which everybody always talks about. I don't even know who that is, but apparently it's a big deal. From Alabama is Ella Langley and Riley Green, so we're excited about that. Brooks and Dunn, that's the one I promise you, I woke up this morning thinking, Brooks and Dunn, they're in my county right now, probably. Oh my goodness. I'm such a big Brooks and Dunn fan since I was itty bitty. I actually used to think it was Dale Earnhardt Sr. I thought he was the singer.
You thought Dale Earnhardt was singing Neon Moon?
Yeah.
When she was doing the Boot Scoot Boogie?
So funny to think of that because I was little. But, yeah, we've got T-Pain. There's just a whole big old long list of folks. But most importantly, Brooks and Dunn is in my county. So
now that is
that's a big thing.
And I like that it's across genres, and that's a heck of a draw, and that's great for the area. But I know there's worry about they don't want, because it is a small town, big beach. They don't really want it to get too crazy, like what certain music festivals can attract. They don't really want the crazy partying sort of thing.
Yeah, the Hangout Festival is starting to get a little bit out of hand as far as the crowd. So they kind of rebranded to Sand in My Boots to cater more towards what we are here in South Alabama, our country way of living, so we have more country acts. But it is like looking at my playlist. Like, you can go from, like, my playlist would be like, you can go from Kenny G to,
to T-Pain covering War Pigs?
You never know what you're going to get. So it's kind of like that. It's a good mix, something for everybody. But they also are saying that this year is the last year they're under contract with that management company that puts on this festival. They also put on Coachella and some larger festivals nationwide. And so this is the last year of that contract. So after this festival, depending on how it goes, they're going to reevaluate that contract, see if they want to continue doing this. And there is a possibility they won't do it because they want the quality of life for the people who live here to remain even during this weekend. They don't want it to be a wild and crazy weekend. You know, Gulf Shores is very family friendly. That's kind of how they market themselves. And even during spring break, they have an alcohol ban on the beaches. So they really want to make sure that everyone stays safe when they come to visit Gulf Shores and that they leave with good memories and not a police report.
Well, I appreciate the time as always, Erica. If folks want to check out what you're writing about, thinking about, how can they do so?
Well, head over to 1819news.com. It's not just me. It's a lot of us. You know, I have to once again give credit where credit is due. And my coworkers in Montgomery, Craig Monger and Caleb Taylor and Jeff Ford also, they covered this legislative session better than anybody. I've never seen anything like it before. They were all over all the stories. So if you want to see what happened, you can always go back and look at our stories on 1819news.com. You can sign up for exclusive content as well. And if you want to email us, you can email news@1819news.com.
Well, I appreciate it as always, Erica. We'll do it again next week. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless. And yeah, yesterday we had Jeff Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow we got Craig Monger in the studio.
Yeah.
God willing. And yeah, there are a few, picking up on what Erica just laid down, a few flurries of activity, as we talked about with Jeff yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, the Alabama legislature passes the Back the Blue police immunity bill, which some folks are real upset with, but I imagine it's a pretty popular thing here in this area.
Yeah.
I'm more a support your local sheriff guy, just because the movie's really good.
Yeah.
But,
Walking Tall?
You get the idea. No, have you ever seen the movie Support Your Local Sheriff? I think it's James Garner.
Oh, yes,
It's sort
I
of
have.
a comedy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great.
You need to see the original version of Walking Tall.
Original of Walking Tall. I saw the one with The Rock and that other guy.
The original one is so good. I saw it at the
Who's in
drive-in
the
theater.
original?
He ended up being a big football player. He was a big football player. He was retired. Big old white guy. God, I can't think of his name. But I saw it at the drive-in theater in Montgomery. That's how old it was.
Okay.
But I remember he'd walk around beating people up with a 2x4, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Tennessee Sheriff Buford Pusser.
Yeah, something like that.
Like what? But I'm just doing hooked on
See why he
phonics.
was so mad all the time.
It's Pusser.
Talk about a girl named Sue. I see why he was a little bit angry.
But Buford is played by Joe Don Baker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big old boy.
Carries a big stick after thugs beat him up and kill his wife. Oh, it's one of those revenge sort
I
of.
think it was kind of based, maybe I was telling a lie, but I thought it was based on a true story, but maybe not.
By the way, I've noticed Craig Monger's headlines.
Yeah.
As we get to the close of the session, there's a little more framing in there that
really?
I appreciate. For instance, the story is about how they wanted to push reform for archives and history in the state, like reining how certain board members are appointed and everything.
Okay.
But the way Craig Monger headlined it, or maybe Jeff Ford did it, Fat Lady sings on archives and history reform as lawmakers conclude session. Quote, just ran out of time.
That's such a load of crap. The whole running out of time thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've never worked at a job before where someone gave me a task, and at the end of the day, I go, I didn't have enough time, so see you tomorrow?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work that way.
See it, see it then.
And you still get paid?
Now, one of the stories here, and it seems like it was a bipartisan affair, but it's state Democrat lawmaker touts quote-unquote minstrel equity. But you also had Speaker Ledbetter was also honored at the Beautiful Women and Handsome Men in Hats event. Ledbetter signed the certificate in recognition of Brianna and Brooke's advocacy. These are two young women, Brianna and Brooke Bennett, founders of Women in Training, were given a framed certificate from the State House of Representatives at the annual Beautiful Women and Handsome Men in Hats event. What a name. Anyway, for their nonprofit organization that distributes kits of menstrual hygiene and dental products to underserved girls and young women. The now 17-year-olds are set to graduate from Montgomery Academy this month. Well, congratulations to Bree and Brooke. But they were 12 years old when they first came up with this. But the word is menstrual equity, which I go, what?
Yeah.
Here, should I just ask Grok real quick?
Sure.
We can just talk to Grok for a moment.
Sure, go ahead.
Let's make sure it's not on unhinged mode.
That might be an idea.
All right. Hey, Grok, what is menstrual equity?
Menstrual equity is ensuring everyone has access to affordable menstrual products like tampons and pads, along with proper education and sanitation facilities to manage periods safely and with dignity. It addresses issues like period poverty, where people can't afford these essentials, and pushes for policies to make products free or subsidized in public spaces.
Thank you, Grok. We'll talk more later. I mean, I see why folks are like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're not going to hear me argue against that.
Yeah.
I don't think.
No, I'm glad. I did this to chasten you. I did this to get you from decentering your own lived experience and your own life experience.
Well, I've never had that experience, but if
right, no, I know you have sisters.
I take it back. I do remember one time going in the woman's restroom and coming back out asking my mom, "Why is there a lollipop machine in y'all's restroom?" Later on in life, I learned it wasn't a lollipop machine.
It wasn't?
No.
Oh, it was the products.
Yeah, but I didn't know that.
No, and that is in the men's. It's an old throwback where it's the prophylactics.
Yeah.
I don't think you see them anymore now.
I don't know. I can't think the last time I've actually gone to the.
And it would often be not like because you never go to the bathroom at the gas station here when you're in home, when you're in your normal city. But when you travel, you're stopping at the gas station, the Shell, the Chevron.
Oh, I remember
it
was a 3-staller, and you had
the Tom Thumb. Like you're.
Oh, yeah, that's bringing back some memories. Yeah.
Yeah, and you go in there, and it's like, what's this little lollipop windy thing here? It's only like 50 cents. You know those work.
It was easier buying from there than going and asking the pharmacist. That's why those places made money.
Right. But still, like, if you're that sheepish about it, should you really be doing it?
No, but who's going to tell a 15-year-old kid, hey, listen to yourself here. You shouldn't be doing this. Oh, okay, loser.
Anyway, we're working on Eddie here because, I learned today I was able to put aside my priors, put aside my assumptions.
Okay.
And especially the ones based on, like, the privileges I don't see because I'm me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in a way, I don't know why I'm blamed for that because I can't control it.
Oh, yes, you can.
Like, I'm just
away.
Baby, I'm just born this way, all right?
You can give everything away and be as unprivileged as you want.
No, nope.
Not an option, is
nope.
it?
Mm-mm. It will always be.
Right.
Until we have a final reckoning. It will always be.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of, like, the final judgment. It's a little crazy. It's like, yeah, we'll all be waiting in heaven until the final judgment, and everybody's,
judging
the reanimation of the body and whatnot.
It's going to be a weird one.
Anyway, but I did learn after going through that sort of secular baptism of checking one's privilege and decentering one's own identity, that Trump is to blame for making black women fat. Trump is to blame for making black women fat.
I'm trying to be open-minded, but you're going to have to do some serious selling to get me to buy
I'm not the one selling it. We're going to get off stage, and we're going to put the spotlight on a beautiful woman who is telling her perspective. We'll get to that.
I'll try.
But we got to hit a break here.
Thank God.
First, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And did you see on Facebook?
I was just going to ask you, did you see, Joey?
I did see this. But did you see it? Did you really see it?
I seen it.
Can't unsee it?
Can't unsee it. It's a beautiful piece of jewelry.
It really is. Another custom engagement ring made by Josh himself. And this is the way to do it, fellas. I mean, there's sometimes it's like a family heirloom or there's something specific the lady in question wants. But if you could get something truly unique to say, I want to marry you. I want you to be the love of my life.
You need to have a very special moment.
Why not have a truly unique, since your love is unique, engagement ring made by Josh Ryder? And the man is spectacular. Again, go to Facebook and you can see another custom engagement ring created by Josh. And wow, that is, it's hard to put into words. Just go look at the photos, folks.
It's gorgeous.
And even better, if you're thinking about custom design work or you're thinking about looking over their inventory, Leslie puts together a great selection, or any of the great services they offer there at Dillon Rings, just stop by.
Yep.
119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery. It's just off Atlanta Highway, sort of the back end entrance to the AUM complex. You've gone too far if you're actually getting into the AUM complex.
Exactly. Turn around.
You know where all those ball fields are, where the old fun zone used to be? Yeah, they're right there. So y'all check them out today. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage.
And I'm Madeline Cannon. It's true, rates aren't as low as they have been for the past couple of years, but there are still many homeowners that could benefit from refinancing their current mortgage. There are a lot of things in life that are out of our control, but your mortgage rate is not one of them. If you currently have an adjustable rate mortgage, then you owe it to yourself to give us a call.
Adjustable rate mortgages make sense for some people in stable markets, but in this wild, ever-changing rate environment, it only makes sense to secure a fixed interest rate. A fixed interest rate will give you the peace of mind that your rate is locked. Your rate will not be subject to change with the political and economic tides.
At Alabama Home Mortgage, you can personalize your term. We offer 8-year to 30-year mortgages and everything in between. Grab your mortgage statement and give us a call.
Call Alabama Home Mortgage, the #1 mortgage lender in Alabama, today at 567-4223, or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
For reliable electrical services in Central Alabama, trust the experts at Crosby Electric. Crosby's licensed and insured electricians are ready to tackle any project for your home, from troubleshooting, repairs, to installing new lighting and preventive maintenance. And Crosby understands the need for quality service for small business. Crosby is big enough for the largest job, yet small enough to bring real value. Visit CrosbyElectric.com to schedule your service. Crosby, powering Central Alabama with excellence.
Summer's here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, nope. But a box fan? Happily, yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. It's time to get those gardens ready. From seeds to plants to fertilizer, MPM has what you need. Shop MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays, 8 to 1.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We're getting hotter and hotter, and I think we'll be 90 or above for the next few days, probably at least through Monday. There's a little humidity, but nothing crazy. Good bit of sunshine today and partial sunshine on Friday. 91 today, 93 the high on Friday. We'll be in the upper 60s at night. Then over the weekend, I can't rule out a couple of pop-up storms somewhere in the area at random. Nothing like last weekend with highs around 90 both days. We'll be near 70 at night and lower 90s again on Monday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low-price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. All the things we talk about on air and off air.
Yeah.
I'm preparing Eddie to be decentered. And we're going to learn the mystery of it. Because I learned it today. Apparently Trump is making black women fat. Trump and his racism.
Now, are black women the only ones getting fat off this? Is there an opposite effect elsewhere? Or
you're already asking too many questions. You haven't descended yourself. You're just ready to jump in. It's like, how can I understand this? How can I put this in a little white box?
No, how can I understand it? That's exactly what I'm trying to wrap my mind around it.
All right. While you're working on that, let's go to John from Wetumpka. Hey, John, how you doing?
Doing good. Wanted to weigh in on the Buford Pusser topic that you had on earlier.
Yes,
he
sir.
was a professional wrestler.
Oh, okay, nice.
He was Buford the Bull, and I saw it at the South Plaza like you did, I guess.
Buford the Bull. Yeah, I remember seeing it. As a kid, I don't remember why we were there, but I just remember seeing that big old dude beating the crap out of everybody with a 2x4, and that was my new hero for a while.
And I'm sure they embellished some, but it was a true story.
I thought it was. I thought it was based on a true story.
Yeah, and they made several sequels to it because it was so successful.
Well, there's nothing that beats a great revenge story. Like, you did me wrong, and I'm a man. I'm coming to get you, man.
Yeah.
Well, he had, they did cut him to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
They took a switchblade and ran across his stomach, and that was all true. I mean, I've seen the pictures of him, and then he ended up dying in an automobile wreck.
Oh, wow.
Of course, that could have been a revenge situation
Could have been.
because of the people that it was an organized crime ring that he was breaking down, and that was one of the. So I mean, I'm sure he was a football player too, but he ended up his fame was being a wrestler because he was a big old guy and could do that. He gave it up because his wife wanted him to do that, and he went back home and ended up being sheriff.
Well, no, in those days, the wrestling business was no joke. Like, they kept up the kayfabe
type deal, yeah.
And man, those are true street brawlers. Those fellas.
Yeah, and it wasn't a bad way to make a living if you're a big guy like that, can bring in a crowd, and if you're flamboyant enough, or so that was back when we had wrestling on television in the Montgomery area.
Yep.
On Saturday night at like 10:30, you could watch wrestling.
Right.
They had it at the Coliseum, and they had it at different places. So this is reminiscing at its best, isn't it?
I love it. I love it. And it does feel like we're losing the regional, the unique stuff of every region. The internet is kind of making everybody. We got our differences still, but everybody's starting to be the same because of this one universal culture that's churning online.
Yeah, I see that.
It is good to reminisce and remember, the actual unique things.
Yeah.
And I can remember, I just share this with you before I go. My cousin was a good-looking little girl. She was the homecoming queen and all that kind of stuff, a beauty in her class. She was a very eloquent, well-spoken young lady, but she loved some wrestling. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she was not what you would pick. But she didn't miss it when it was in the area.
Yeah.
She's done some of the WWE and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting phenomenon.
Definitely.
Well, I appreciate.
Buford was a folk hero.
Yeah.
He really was.
Well, I appreciate the call, John.
Thank you, John.
Sure.
See you, man.
Let's go to Bill. Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Great. To add a little bit to the conversation, my dad was actually from McNairy County, and he knew Buford Pusser.
Oh, yeah?
And, like the previous caller said, probably 90% of the movie was accurate according to Dad. But he said that they were about 99% sure that the car had been sabotaged. It was his new Corvette.
That's what I thought I remember.
The way the accident occurred, and he was also shot in the face. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Yep.
But on the same day that they killed his wife, he was shot in the face. But he was one tough dude. On a different subject, I just tuned in. I heard you mention I think it was the Support the Blue or something immunity law. Could you tell me if that passed in Alabama?
It did. The legislature's passed it. It's awaiting the governor's signature, which is, I think, a given thing. But it's the one pushed in the House by Representative Rex Reynolds It would repeal the current laws on police immunity and establish that a law enforcement officer shall be immune from any claim that seeks to impose civil liability on the officer for conduct performed within the officer's discretionary authority. And that went through.
Okay, thank you very much, and I enjoy your show.
Thank you, Bill. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Before I forget, this part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team are ready to help you out. Well, whether you're looking to buy or sell in the Montgomery and surrounding areas, Bo's been working in the River Region real estate market for about 50 years now, and he's seen it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the Goodson Group, not only can they help you with buying and selling your property, but they have management services available should you want to rent out your home. And the Goodson Group is also the home for the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed and accredited real estate programs here in the state of Alabama. So if you want to learn more, just go online, thegoodsongroup.com, or give them a call direct, 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson, the Goodson Group, great sponsor here of the program. Now, are you ready to learn how Trump is making black women fat, or do you want to maybe learn about how it's not manly to support Trump?
Not manly?
Yeah, there's a young man named Harry Sisson, and he's trying to help the Democrats reach the men, like manly men. And so before I even play it...
Trying to do the whole open mind thing, Joey.
Oh, no, and this is an early test of that. Right. Before we move on to black women, we're going to start with like another white guy, all right?
Okay, all right.
But he is trying to reach out, like he's trying to help, like he's taking on the manosphere.
Okay.
Which I'm sure a man came up with that term, right?
No doubt.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's just dudes hanging out. What are you going to call it a thing? We're the intellectual dark web. Okay, nerd. Thanks.
There you go.
But now, before I even play the clip, look at the guy. Manly man?
No.
What are you just looking at him?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, what are they? It's sushi. It looks like they're at a sushi restaurant. That looks like seaweed wrap to me.
It's not even the food. Just look at that face.
Just off a face, you could...
Soft. Like 10-ply. Look at that.
I mean, you haven't even heard, like, you're judging him so quickly.
Very much so. I'm not afraid to profile. My 55 years on this earth have taught me that you profile for a reason.
No, you got that extra sense.
No, that's my thought. I could be wrong, but I bet I'm not.
No, but you just glimpse them, and you're like, soft.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe your opinion will change if we hear him out.
Okay.
Don't let your first impression sully
that's the hard part.
The message he might be putting out there, because it could be this guy, like, you hadn't seen his hand.
I have
you
not.
hadn't shook his hand.
No, I haven't.
He could have calluses on those hands.
They look pretty soft from here, though, I got to be honest. Don't know why that boy's ever picked up a wrench in his life. But that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you ready to hear him out?
I'm trying.
Let's listen in.
There's nothing manly about supporting Donald Trump.
I bet he used a lot of lotion on his hands. I bet they're really soft.
At least on one of them.
There's nothing manly about supporting Donald Trump. What's manly is taking your girlfriend to a really nice restaurant, as I'm doing right now, and also voting for her and everyone else to have basic human rights.
But I do that.
Wait, you take your wife of 25 years now?
Yeah, 25 years.
That's amazing.
We go to dinner. I support her. She supports me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's I feel pretty manly about it.
Do you vote for human rights?
I never voted
Which
against
is code
them.
for, like, do you vote for Democrats?
Oh.
It's only manly to vote for
I have
Democrats.
before in the past.
You have before? You
have.
got that Obama card.
Yep.
I voted for Obama in
Called
2008.
Lesson learned.
Yeah. And it brought so much, like, peace and happiness and, like, the vision of reading Rainbow. It almost brought it about.
As a white guy at Hyundai that had openly admitted that he had...
Oh, no.
pulled, yeah, buddy.
Oh, did you get it from
There was
all
a
sorts of
little-
types of folks?
A lot of ridicule going on.
Wait, did you get it from white folks, black folks, everybody?
Everybody.
Why?
Most people could, even black folks, could see through it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people called me out on white guilt. And I was like, that's not even a thing.
Somebody should have bought you Shelby Steele's book and just slid it over there while you're in the middle of working one day.
But I mean, it led to some incredible conversation,
Sure.
but a lot of ridicule. A lot of ridicule.
But you
well
don't-
deserved too, by the way.
You don't think this guy is making a great point about manliness?
There's nothing manly about supporting Donald Trump. What's manly is taking your girlfriend to a really nice restaurant, as I'm doing right now, and also voting for her and everyone else to have basic human rights.
What is with the uptalk?
I get it. I mean, who doesn't who votes against basic human rights? Is voting for Trump somehow voting against basic human rights?
Yes.
If that's the case,
It's a vote for fascism.
Can you give me examples? Just one?
You know, if you have to ask a question.
Exactly. I'm back to
Yeah.
watching,
Yeah, you're centering yourself again and your perspective. And like, I'm an angel. I can never do anything wrong with my agenda.
But you can. We're all
I mean,
human.
have you even thought about that maybe you're not that manly?
Oh yeah, there's times when I realize I'm not that manly.
I mean, that's every day for
Snake,
me.
when a snake pops up and you're not expecting it, you scream like a little girl.
Yeah, no, it's usually, though, the guy, even the guy who's like, he's got the cigar, he's got the fast cars, he's got the girls on his arms that he's throwing on webcams and stuff, and, you know.
Dan
he's-
Bazillion or whatever his name was.
Or Andrew Tate or
Yeah,
whatever.
Tate,
You're
yeah.
a fighter. Like, you can take men on. You could kill a man with your hands.
He's ready to take on the eight,
Right,
too,
all
by
this
the
stuff.
way,
But the more you talk about, like, this is what a man is, I'm like, okay, you're a woman.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh, I agree.
Like, your accomplishments should kind of speak for themselves.
I agree. Just like a lot
Your
of people.
prowess, your competence, your talent, your status, even, should all speak for themselves. And the more you talk about it, and also put on the airs of, like, how many gimmicks you got. Why can't you just look into a camera and be like, my goodness gracious. Like, stop sucking on the cigar. Stop it with all the women.
That's my bravado.
Yeah, no, but if that's your bravado, then it ain't you.
Exactly.
And, like, it ain't manly to vote for Donald Trump. It's like, okay, a year ago today, Joe Biden put out this message.
Oh.
It's already been a year. It feels like 4 or 5 years.
It does.
But it has already been a year since Joe Biden laid down the challenge like a man does. He laid it down fierce. He laid it down, and Donald Trump was shaking in his boots.
Oh.
Or loafers or whatever he wears. This was Joe Biden 1 year ago. Let's listen in together, Eddie.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. Since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
He didn't do it twice.
That didn't age very well.
No.
But I like it.
But, like, what a man.
I don't know.
What a man.
It'd be more manly if I knew or even thought for 1 second that he wrote what he said and he intended to stand by.
Oh, right. And they couldn't even do it in one take.
Right. You could
every other part of the sentence, every other word, they had to clip it in a different way.
We got 3 good seconds at a time.
Well, actually, we're just leaning into the current trends on TikTok. That gives you that impact, that sort of...
Wait, TikTok, the one they're trying to ban?
That sort of crash zoom, you know? But I'm having trouble with you today because you continue to push your fascism.
I don't think it's fascism.
I might move to Canada.
Dude, be careful what you wish for.
Well, it's because, like, look at these 3 folks. You say you can judge a book by its cover.
Right.
What do you think of those 3?
They look like Canadians already.
They're Americans. They teach at Yale. They specialize in the study of fascism. And they're moving to Canada because they can see the writing on the wall.
They moved to Alberta?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
But let's hear these folks out.
Okay.
These Yale professors study
historian
fascism.
of totalitarianism.
I look at fascist rhetoric.
I've been thinking about the sources of the worst kinds of history.
I look at fascist rhetoric.
Can we make a deal with them? We'll give them a couple bucks, but they got to stay. They can never come back.
Oh, it's not long. Let's complete this.
I'm a historian of totalitarianism.
I look at fascist rhetoric.
I've been thinking about the sources of the worst kinds of history for a quarter of a century.
Yeah.
Experts say the constitutional crisis is here now.
The Trump administration deporting hundreds of men without a trial.
A massive purge at the FBI to make people afraid of speaking out against him.
Now they're moving abroad.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye, bitch.
Bye.
Like, seriously.
Go study that elsewhere. People like that, I just don't have nothing for. Although at one time,
I look at
that was gonna be me.
fascist rhetoric.
I was going to move one time. If it didn't get better, I was going to move.
Was it because you're looking at fascist rhetoric?
I was just worried that, things weren't going exactly the way I saw it politically. And I thought, I don't want to be a part of this. I'd rather go to Jamaica and watch it burn from afar.
Sure, yeah.
But I couldn't. I had a friend of mine in the Philippines back in probably mid-'80s. He left the Philippines because of all that was going on there.
Sure.
When Marcos finally got out, he was the first one that left to go back. And I was like, why are you going back? You had to put up with so much just to get here.
Yeah.
He said, man, I'm going back to fight for my country.
I was about to say.
And that...
You can't just give up.
No, and I was 17, 18 years old. But to hear that, and he's a grown man, but to hear him tell me that, I got it. I got it real quick. So, yeah, I couldn't leave to watch it burn from afar. I'd have to be here.
Oh, look. The alarm clock's going off.
I was going to say, what is that?
How about this? Why don't you go take care of that?
Yeah, I'm going to try.
While it's the top right on the side. All right. Goodness gracious. Can we not have an alarm clock in the studio that goes off every day at 12:56? All right, I think you fixed it. That's this part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. Hey, you missed James the other day.
Me too, man. James is a great guy.
Really
and he brought
is a
that
great
little
guy.
pooch with him, right?
Yeah, and they still have a thing coming up this Friday. Before I talk about Cole Plumbing, James, with his group there, Order of Eastern Star, they're doing a fundraiser for Scholarships and Service Dogs Alabama. It's, of course, a tax-exempt charitable donation they're looking for. And really, all you need to do is go by and get some food. Grilled chicken plates. You got chicken, baked beans, coleslaw, a roll, and dessert for only $10 a plate.
Dude, that's a heck of a deal.
Yeah, and you can stop by in person at 1273 Federal Drive here in Montgomery from 11 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. That's tomorrow.
Okay.
11 in the morning tomorrow to 2 in the afternoon. Or if you say you want to buy like the crew.
That's what I was thinking.
Or the office, a bunch of grilled chicken plates. They got you.
That's a good idea.
Just call them up, and I've got the number right here, and so you can see that too. If somebody calls up, we got the number for that.
Sweet.
And of course, they're at Cole Plumbing. They're ready to help you with any and all of your plumbing needs. Everyday problems like low water pressure, clogged drain, maybe flush the toilet and it comes up in the shower drain. Things like tree root invasion, a little more serious. Gas line leak, even.
Happens.
And of course, you have a big old leak inside or outside your home. They have the technology to fix it with minimal discomfort to you in your home. That means they're not tearing out a bunch of drywall, digging up a huge hole or trench in your yard.
A lot less mess, Joey.
A lot less mess, and they can fix that problem with precision and expertise. And of course, they can help you upgrade. Maybe it's time for a new garbage disposal. Maybe it's time for a taller toilet. Maybe you want to get real fancy with a bidet.
Maybe you want to upgrade in your shower. You want just different shower heads or different faucets.
Yeah, new accessories, any sort of plumbing needs, tankless water heater system, or just a new water heater. They can help you with all of that there at Cole Plumbing. So you can always go to coleplumbing.com and book an appointment there and learn more at coleplumbing.com, or give them a call at 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole, Joey.
So we got about a minute left in this hour. Are you ready to learn how Trump is making black women fat?
I'm going to try to keep the open mind. I'm honestly going to try. It'll be hard.
There's no try. You either do or do not, all right?
I'm going to try not to fail.
That's not the right mentality.
I can't lie to myself. I don't want to lie to you or anybody else. I'm going to try.
Now, during the break, I'm going to put it on repeat in a little like Zoom player I have over here.
Okay.
And it's just that guy saying over and over again, so you can get in the correct headspace. I study fascist rhetoric.
You know,
I'm moving to Canada.
I hate to make this comparison, but I'm going to say it. That reminds me of when you're dealing with realtors, and a realtor said, I've been in the business for over 50 years. It's like, yeah, I know. That's why he hadn't retired yet. You suck so bad you're stuck doing it.
But they don't sound like this, do they?
A lot of them do, Joey.
Oh, God.
A lot of them.
Are they men?
A few.
And on that sensitive note, sensitive indeed, second hour coming up, we'll learn how Trump is making black women fat.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. NATO foreign ministers are debating a U.S. demand to massively ramp up defense investment to 5% of gross domestic product over the next 7 years. The Trump administration wants to focus on security challenges outside of Europe. At talks Thursday in Turkey, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said more funds and military equipment are needed to deal with the threat posed by Russia and terrorism, but also by China. A Wisconsin judge accused of helping a man evade federal immigration agents has pleaded not guilty to federal charges. Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan is charged with obstruction and concealing an individual to prevent arrest. She could face up to 6 years in prison if convicted on both counts. The Dow had 190 points, and the NASDAQ Composite is up 50 points. This is SRN News.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher, host of the Mike Gallagher Show here, and when it comes to mortgages, I only trust the team that's helped me and my family more than once, Mike and Brian at Fellowship Home Loans. These guys are friends, believers. They built a company on biblical values that actually puts you first. In today's economy, with everything costing more, you need a lender who can help you make smart strategic moves when it comes to real estate. Need cash for home improvements? Thinking about a HELOC or a refi to consolidate debt? Well, Fellowship Home Loans can help you do it faster and for less. Why? Because they're a direct lender, not a broker. No middleman. No unnecessary fees. That means fewer hoops, less waiting, and real answers from real people who care. Whether you're buying, selling, refinancing, or just exploring your options, Fellowship Home Loans will tailor everything to your unique needs. Get started at fellowshiphomeloans.com/MikeG, fellowshiphomeloans.com/MikeG, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Earnest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Earnest, 334-279-7431. Earnest Financial, LLC.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We're getting hotter and hotter, and I think we'll be 90 or above for the next few days, probably at least through Monday. There's a little humidity, but nothing crazy. Good bit of sunshine today and partial sunshine on Friday. 91 today, 93 the high on Friday. We'll be in the upper 60s at night. Then over the weekend, I can't rule out a couple of pop-up storms somewhere in the area at random. Nothing like last weekend with highs around 90 both days. We'll be near 70 at night and lower 90s again on Monday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. The bill banning cell phones in Alabama's public schools became law as Governor Kay Ivey signed the Focus Act on Wednesday. The law requires students' phones to be turned off and stored away during school hours. The Focus Act also requires social media safety training for all students before entering the 8th grade. The first group of South Africans chosen by President Donald Trump's administration to resettle in Alabama have arrived in the state. Nearly 60 white South Africans were admitted into the United States this week. President Trump stated the refugees are being persecuted and white landowners in South Africa are facing genocide. Montgomery police have made an arrest in connection to an armed robbery that occurred in February. 34-year-old DeSheldrick Mack is charged with first-degree robbery of the Roadrunner gas station on Virginia Loop Road. Mack allegedly took $351 from the business while holding the clerk at gunpoint. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
Hi, I'm Paul Doe. Me and my wife Jessica own the Seafood Bistro over here in Perry Hill and Carmichael. We've been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for going on 3 years now. It has been a great turnout. It's been a pleasure partnering with a local company like Blue Water. And if you have your own business, I suggest teaming up with a partner like Blue Water Broadcasting. It's a local company that helps local businesses.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
At Guardian Credit Union, if it's important to you, it's important to us. We don't do banking differently. We do relationships differently. Want to secure a HELOC for home projects? So do we. Want to build your credit? So do we. Want to plan your next vacation? So do we. We're here to help with whatever's next, because whatever you want in life, so do we. Stop by any of our branches and let's plan your next step together. Guardian Credit Union, where you belong. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity. NMLS 912757.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's cleaning service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is a Trump country. We live in the southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Second hour of the program here. Again, you can always watch online, Joey Clark Live on YouTube, or at the Joey Clark on X, the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, and of course my Facebook page. We're streaming every day. Eddie Bader here.
What's up, homie?
And today already feels like Friday.
It's Thursday, right?
It is Thursday. I don't know if we're going to have Jeff Dyson or not on today. I texted him. I haven't heard back from him yet. But hopefully we'll have Jeff on, as he is regularly on the program. If not, we'll try to pick it up next week. Now, are you ready, Eddie?
Trying.
You're going to try?
Yeah. I'm gonna my honest college try.
All right. So here's how I know you're trying. I'm going to play this clip.
Okay.
And without questioning her.
Got to make it all the way through, right?
Yes. Okay. Without questioning her.
Okay.
Her logic, asking extra questions.
Okay.
You just need to be able to give me sort of like appraisal of what she said.
Okay.
Like just the facts.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
Just facts, Jack.
All right. I got you.
All right. So I saw this earlier today. I found it on the Twitter. It looks like it's one of those daytime talk shows.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where it's like 3-4 people. It's like Dr. Phil, but not Dr. Phil. And I don't want to characterize it anymore. I want to center her and not me. But we're going to learn how Donald Trump is making black women fat.
Can I ask a question real quick? Is that a her that we're looking at?
No, that's a guy right there.
Okay, cool. Because I was going to start out.
No.
Okay.
It's all right. No, it's not that weird.
Well, okay.
Yeah, it's not like the autogynephilia scene in White Lotus. It's not that weird, all right? We're not going that nuts.
All right, I'm back to one then. Okay.
No, this is the guy who's like, listen. See, you see how he's listening? Like he's got his mouth shut. He's paying attention. His eyes. He's focused. He's centering this woman and her perspective. All right.
Okay. All right.
So let's listen in.
I hate when people talk about black women being obese. I hate it because it becomes a way to blame us for a set of conditions that we didn't create. We are living in the Trump era. And look, those policies kill our people. And what public health practitioners think is that our stress responses in the body change our metabolism. It's literally that the racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same. I hate when people talk about black women being obese. I hate it.
Everybody has their own reality.
Wow, that was good. I was actually having some trouble there listening to it, especially the one clip in the middle. I don't know, folks, if you're not watching, they're in a studio where they have the tall chairs. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the chair, you notice that too? The chair's pretty tall?
Yeah.
And let me go to that part real quick. Actually, let's just hear the clip again.
Okay.
I hate when people talk about black women being obese. I hate it.
She hates it.
Because it becomes a way to blame us for a set of conditions that we didn't create.
Right.
We are living in the Trump era. And look, those policies kill our people. And what public health practitioners think is that our stress responses in the body change our metabolism. It's literally that the racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same.
Then, do you want to ask questions now?
I got a couple.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Let's say Trump is not president, because he wasn't, a year ago. She's been bigger for longer than that.
How do you know that?
Because you don't get that big overnight.
How do you know that? You don't know that. Here's the full body shot. You don't know that. I mean, how big we talking?
She's 350.
350?
Yeah, she's 3.
That's a lot, man.
She's 5'2".
Must be a well-crafted chair.
But what happened to everybody's an individual, and you love me for how I am or you don't. It ain't got nothing to do with fat, Trump, whatever. If she wasn't such an angry individual, she'd probably see a lot more love.
By the way, the show is called Black Women Own the Conversation.
Ooh.
See, but here's the thing. I see her, but I'm also seeing the woman next to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the diet's working for her, ain't it?
Oh, hold on. Let's just hear this again.
The struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same.
Then why are there skinny black people that don't like Trump? Why are there skinny black folks that experience racism? That you're saying they're not stressed?
I'm saying if you look for a reason to be negative, you'll find it. If you look for a reason why your life sucks and not take accountability, could be yourself, you'll find it. You'll find it.
And by the way, we have talked about all sorts. We're equal opportunity offenders here. We talk about fat kids.
Yeah.
Talk about fat women.
Yep.
We talk about fat fellas of all races.
Yep.
Religions.
Yep.
Ethnicities.
Yep.
A lot of fatties out there. Fatty bomb baddies, yes.
When are we going to start knocking the skinny folks?
I mean, some people are too skinny.
Yeah. Almost see through them sometimes.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of ways to be unhealthy. It's just, and maybe that's the stress. Like that, we could also blame that on Trump. The stress of the politics that I can't eat. Just have no appetite. Yeah, they won't let me
Well, then
smoke
you
the
need to hang
marijuana
out
in
with that
Alabama.
fat chick, and then maybe y'all can,
Like share?
Yeah, something. Maybe each other's habits will rub off on each other. Maybe you'll eat a little bit more. Maybe she'll eat a little bit less.
No, but it's because of the racism and the stress living in the Trump era that the diet doesn't work for us like it works for other people.
But all diets.
Did anybody ask her what she actually eats in a day?
Oh, there ain't a whole lot of dieting going on there.
Did anybody ask her, do you like to eat?
They're not going to ask her that. Those are accountability questions.
No, but it's the most absurd, and now look at me centering myself, but it's the most absurd thing I've ever freaking heard. And it's a perfect absurd example of, because of X, Y, Z, I can't control, which certainly happens in life, I'm not responsible for my own fat ass. Really?
But we as a society have said, okay. Look at how many people, well, just look at a grocery store.
Mm.
Those scooters that they have in there.
Yeah.
Are they really for handicapped people? Because if that's the case, they'd have had them there a long time ago. Or has the American public in general got a lot larger?
Okay, and this is something I've learned with living with my grandfather and watching him still try to go and be strong here. Like his knees aren't great. Back always gets tight. Getting in one of those little scooters isn't exactly like, getting in it is one thing, but like getting out of it. So it's not really meant for him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're already paraplegic, you probably have your own ways of getting by, I'd imagine. I would hope.
Yeah.
But then, so you're just saying it's for the fatty bomb baddies who are fat, not because they eat too much, but because of Trump's and the racism that we right now are expressing ourselves.
I'm saying there's a lot of large margins that take those things out for a ride.
Maybe we just didn't understand her, Eddie.
Oh, I understood her.
I hate when people talk about black women being obese. I hate it. Because it becomes a way to blame us for a set of conditions that we didn't create.
Right.
We are living in the Trump era. And look, those policies kill our people. And what public health practitioners think is that our stress responses in the body change our metabolism. It's literally that the racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same.
It's not my fault.
But, maybe she's got a point. Because when did I put on pounds?
Well, everybody does when they're a little depressed.
No, I used to be 180, and I got up to 240. When did I put on the weight? When Joe Biden's dead ass was in there. And maybe it was the stress. Maybe it wasn't the crab claws and the crab legs.
Maybe that's what was driving you to eat.
That I was dipping in Cajun butter. Cajun butter. And then you get the whole hard-boiled egg. You dip that in there. You get all eggs as a side and stuff. Maybe that wasn't me. Maybe it was Biden's fault.
No. I as much as I dislike Biden, no.
When I get Buffalo Wild Wings and ice cream delivered to the house, and I make sure to get not just the regular or the side, but I get the large wedges with bacon and cheese thrown on top of there.
Yeah.
And you make sure to get the ranch, the blue cheese, the chipotle ranch. You get some mango habanero boneless wings. You get some regular buffalo wings in the original buffalo, going way back, throwing you back to the 90s. No, and you eat it all yourself. Oof. It wasn't me. I didn't deliver the DoorDash. I ordered the DoorDash, but I didn't even order. It was Biden. Because I was so stressed out from having to cover the Biden folks for so long. And it's not like, oh, I worked out and started like counting calories and stuff. It's that Trump won. And like the promise of Trump. Like, and that's how I got skinny again.
That was your encouragement?
Yeah. And Trump himself was getting skinny. And you're like, well, he can do it.
He was getting skinny.
So maybe she does have a point.
No, she. But that's the problem. In life, we entertain morons like this instead of calling them out and just walking away.
Can you see if this is on the phones while I bring up to folks that this entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you with buying a home. Especially if you're a first-time home buyer, they can walk you through that process. You're just like, where do I even begin? Well, it starts with pre-approval. That way you can understand how much home you can actually afford. Might be going into the market more informed in a way that it's going to help you find that home that fits you just right. And they'll walk you through from pre-approval all the way to closing day. But of course, they also do great refinance deals. Say you're under a mountain of debt, say credit card debt. Well, if you have equity built up in your home, it's a great way to get that debt off your back. Just put you on a sound or, say, financial footing. Or maybe you're looking to get down monthly overhead costs, especially if you're close to or already in retirement and you're on fixed income. You don't want to eat through that, especially when you're sitting on a lot of equity in your home. And, of course, they specialize in helping veterans there at Alabama Home Mortgage. They are great with the veterans refi deals and home purchases and know the latest with the VA home loan programs, and they have veterans in their blood. They love being able to help those that earn these benefits through their service. Y'all check out Alabama Home Mortgage today. That number, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Matt will improve that to you right now. Right now. MLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. So we got a bunch of folks lined up here.
Yeah, we do.
Let's go to, who's on one?
I.
Just I?
I.
I. How are you?
Eddie, you didn't catch my voice, my friend.
No, I knew it was you. I just wanted to go through it. I was hoping you was going to come on with some fire with Joey. You had an excuse right there. You could have just unloaded on him, but no, I got it.
Okay. But, no.
It done messed you up, huh?
I'm trying to see where I can start with this thing.
Oh, this is just a fun topic. I want to see how you tackle this.
Man, now, first of all, I want to say I know that maybe you have a few callers and listeners that maybe a little overweight or whatever. And
you talking to one right now?
It's about a coin flip's chance, dude.
What I'm saying, I want to be sensitive when we talk about fat people sometimes, okay?
Yeah.
We just joke on this show sometimes. But, homegirl. Oh, my cuss, boy. I want to so fast. You full of it, girl. Now, these eating places that you go, baby girl, okay, the eating place that you go, you can name it Trump all you want to, but at the end of the day, sweetheart, it's called food, okay? Your ass eat too much, and that's what you got your ass swole up, okay? It ain't got damn thing to do with no Trump or no other presidents or whomever, okay?
Right.
It's you, the person in the mirror. Now, don't come on here trying to make black people look bad with this stupidness you coming out of your stupid ass mouth, girl. A woman, whoever the hell you are.
I've got her up on the stream. She's definitely 350.
I mean,
she looks like a pleasant person.
I got to talk about my sisters for a few minutes.
Okay.
Some of our sisters are going stone damn crazy right now, okay? You got songs out here where women saying that, let me see how it goes, making love costs money, okay? You got mamas and sisters and friends training each other how to beg men for money. Undercover prostitutes in the black community right now. Real badly, okay? The young guys meet a female, a young girl, 20, 21. Hell, he got to pay her bills and his too. Nowadays, okay? Then you got gang, like I used to have gang here, get their money or whatever. But, but to say that another individual causing you to eat like hell and get big as you are, one of the largest cities in Germany,
I'm just saying, but she's saying it's the stress of the Trump era and the race, and so she's eating her feelings.
You feeding in her mouth every day, That's the way I see it. That's why I see it over the years. I got a cousin, okay? I'm going to use an example. Just a guy right here, okay?
Okay.
He swole up big. I'm talking about he got health issues that got him swollen, okay?
Sure.
But he eat like hell, and he weigh about, I'm sorry, 400 pounds, maybe.
Oof.
But all of it, most of it comes from this, something making this cat swell up real badly, okay? And I introduced him to a doctor that was helping him. He stopped coming to the doctor, okay? Then this cat got caught at a gas station, had about 4 or 5 of those chili cheese dogs.
They are good.
He can't turn down food, okay? He made a choice to eat the food versus the health part of it, okay? I understand that people have struggles with different diseases or like alcoholism and stuff like that. You know, I got friends that died because he couldn't quit drinking. You know, but it ate the liver up and everything, and the doctor told him that you keep drinking, but he couldn't stop. But that's different than food, I think. Shouldn't it be? I don't know.
Though it sounds like the sort of rationalization because of Trump and racism, that's why I'm fat, is very similar to like, I drink because you just make me unhappy and you're always lying to me.
Now, all the
Very
movies
similar.
I seen, like Mississippi Burning and all those movies, all the black folks are thin. They ain't get much to eat. You didn't get much food, you know. So, she's lying on that one.
I was about to say, what about all those skinny black folks?
She got food stuff. Huh?
What about all the skinny black folks? Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, I'm a skinny cat.
Yeah.
But I kept a, you know, I got a habit of put my body first in most instances. So
yeah.
If her fat ass don't put her body first, instead of worrying about what in the hell Trump or whomever cause her stress or whatever, she's always gonna be big as give me something, Eddie.
Oh, she's a large Marge,
Big as
man.
what?
Big as a bus.
Yeah, she's a large
Big as
Marge.
bus, yeah.
Big back. That's what I've heard them called lately. Big back women.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
But then also, I think there are some fellas who are into this sort of thing.
Oh, dude. There's a whole club in Atlanta that you got to be so big just to get in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And 2-to-1 ratio women to men.
Right. It smells like bacon in there?
Probably smell. Yeah, we'll go with bacon. That'd be pleasant.
Man, I just heard that right there, man. I don't have much more to add to that right there. She just.
You say you don't want to go to the big woman club? Is that what you're saying? Because we could do a field trip. It'd be for science reasons only.
Yeah, no.
And Joey
I
being
don't get
single.
big women, no, but I got my preference though. But
I like a woman that I ain't got to worry about her getting sick and shrivel up and dying in 2 weeks. I like a woman who's got a little meat on her bone.
Yeah, if y'all are like stranded.
Yeah.
And you're going to be okay.
Yeah. I won't have to worry about, oh man, I got to hurry up and get her something to eat. She's like days away from blowing away. I don't want that.
Well, it's just like, I saw this morning and I laughed and laughed and laughed. Because especially if you're watching the video, at one point when she gets flustered, she's on this big old high chair, starts flapping her arms about, and I'm like,
She's got a lot of trust in that chair.
Goodness
now,
gracious.
Joe, you being a hypocrite now. Move that side.
Don't you talk about Momo.
Don't you get beside.
Don't you talk about Momo.
Trying to throw a rocket high at your hand. See?
Fixing to be that season, Joe.
I'm coaching her. I'm coaching her.
Momo been jealous. She asked about you the other day, man. I told her that you still hanging loose for waiting on her to make the move.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's an incentive package. It's like.
I told her what she can find yet. I told her what she can find yet, Joe.
Oh God.
Over in the duck eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be over in Fresh Market near the eggs and where they sell all the drinks.
That's just where Joey hangs
and
out.
It's going to be like that scene in Jurassic Park where you start to see the ripples in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh crap.
Here she
Momo's
comes.
coming. Good thing I'm still sudden.
Yeah. You better be quick.
Well, homegirl, you got to go on with that one, baby girl. You don't go on with that one because nope.
Well, I appreciate the call, dude.
Get her phone number so I can call her.
Later, man.
Get her phone. I need to talk to her. All right.
See you, brother.
Let's go to Simpler Days. Hey, Simpler Days.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
I just had somebody text me that the Big Woman Club smells like cabbage.
Oh, that I could see.
Mm-hmm. And like cottage cheese and bacon, all that mixed together. Anyway.
Well, you ain't seen nothing yet. All these kids that are riding around on golf carts don't go outside and play and sit around on video games. They're the next big, large.
You're right.
Coming. And I mean, I just can't imagine all these. I mean, it's like the first thing you do when you hit 55 or 60, you run down and get the handicap sticker.
I can do that?
So you don't
Not
have to
you.
walk anymore.
Oh.
So and it's all about discipline. It's all about. It's so simple. It's just discipline, and whether you learn it in the military, whether you learn it in a quasi-military, whether you learn it in football practice, you learn discipline, and that's how you keep your weight down. and it's self-initiative, looking in the mirror. But when you reach a point where you just don't care anymore, then, you end up on one of these great TV shows, where there's an enabler bringing them the food, and the government supplying the money, and they keep getting 700, 800 pounds. It's all about discipline.
Well, and there really are things. It's called fat activism, and there's like fat phobic studies, and they call it also fat bodybuilding. Like I'm getting fat on purpose in particular ways, and you see the ridiculous like eating trends online and all sorts of disgusting stuff. And I do, if I'm being serious for a moment, have plenty of compassion and empathy for folks who give up, because often it is like something really bad might have happened in life or just whatever, and your one comfort is the stuff you eat, and you just sink into that. And it's like any other, say, trend or habit you get into, and that one gets it weighs you down even more and more and more. But it's one thing to, say, have empathy and compassion for folks, but it's this mentality that, no, all ways of living are equal.
Right.
And it just ain't true. Some ways of living are better than others. And it's crazy.
Joey, go back and look at the yearbooks of the 40s, 50s, 60s, somewhere about in the 70s.
There's a lot hungrier then.
And when they started coming out with buffets and supersize and all that, there's a fast food joint on every corner. And look at the football players, versus the ones in the 70s and 80s, the linemen.
Mm-hmm.
It was, like you said, it's a change in lifestyle, it's a change in eating habits. But anyway, item number 2 I wanted to address with you. Yesterday was Police Memorial Service.
Yes, sir.
And speaking of backing the blue, our illustrious mayor didn't make any comments. Last year he didn't come because I'm sure he was in Malibu or overseas or somewhere. But when you talk about backing people and supporting people, your actions speak louder than words.
Yes, sir.
And when 29 former Montgomery police officers died in the line of duty, and I'm sure in his mind that represents old Montgomery, and we know how he feels about old Montgomery. But just to stand up there and make a few comments, it says volumes to the troops. Of course, I guess he was pouting because the immunity bill got passed yesterday, so he was probably struggling with that. But y'all have a good day, gentlemen.
Appreciate it, Simpler Days.
See you, Simpler Days.
Let's go to TS. Hey, TS, how are you?
Joey, I'm fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hang on. I'm giving my city man a water.
Okay.
Hey, baby. I've seen you forever.
She's got a city man.
She's kind of being flirtatious.
Got a country man.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, so you got a city man.
I take care of my city people.
That's good to hear.
They even honk at me. Did you hear it?
I didn't hear the honking, but I'll take your word for it.
Well, that's nice. Yesterday I heard my initials, but I had just walked in my house, so I don't know what the comment was, and I don't really care. But you're getting a little worked up today, Joey. Are you okay?
Are we? Did this phone call, when I triggered it, create a time machine where we're back to Tuesday?
Well, she noticed you're a little worked
I don't
up
know.
today.
What's today?
Right.
It's Thursday.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty subdued. I'm trying to understand how Trump's making black women fat.
Well, he's not making me fat. I'm losing weight.
There you go.
Oh, you've been working hard. Everything you're talking about.
I don't care what color I am. Oh, no, wait. Here's my other question. Are you 240 now or 280?
He's 280.
Yeah, I'm
He's 5'6", 280 pounds.
Eddie, I'm not talking to you.
No, I'm an even 200 now.
Really?
Yep.
Who just said yep?
Joey?
Yeah, a lot of it's muscle sugar.
Oof. Got that back muscle.
Okay, get it, big boy. Anyway, I don't know about all this Trump and fat woman stuff, because I don't think that Trump has anything to do with obesity.
I mean, like,
I think that has to do with opening your mouth and putting food in.
Yep.
yeah, but what about the stress that triggers you to open your mouth and put food in?
When I get real stressed out, I don't want to eat. So.
Well, I just had 2 lunches, but I'm about to be out here waiting for the tree guy to come take down this magnolia, and I'm about to work for 3 hours in the yard, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna burn it off.
What'd you have for lunch?
Oh, okay. Well, this morning, maybe it was brunch. I had I'd made seafood gumbo, shrimp gumbo stuff.
Yeah.
So I finished that off from last night, and then I was bad and went to Wendy's and got one of those little $5 everything bags.
Oh, so you got like a burger and like maybe some spicy chicken nuggets in there or something? Or?
Yeah. The little burger and the nuggets and the fries and a Diet Dr. Pepper, which I never drink.
Yeah,
so now I'm about to come. I think when you get off, you should come help me with all these leaves.
That's a good idea.
Magnolia leaves.
Not working out, dude. You ought to change your routine a little bit. Instead of working out every morning, go down there and work out during the day. That's a good workout, too, man.
Get outside, Joey,
Take your shirt
and
off,
burn and
draw the neighbors around.
fire and glisten. Oh,
glisten?
no, that's around the corner.
Yeah, glisten.
Ben's hot around the corner, and he's got a great family. Yeah. Yeah. No, he does that tire stuff where you go and you do the tire thing up and down your driveway.
You just flip the tire?
It's like a tractor tire.
Yeah,
Joey,
it ain't like a Volkswagen.
I know what you're talking about. It's not easy by any means. It's a nice full body workout.
Too. Yeah. No, they're good guys. They're some of my favorite neighbors.
Does he honk at you?
Okay. What?
Does he honk at you?
Or do you honk at him?
We honk at each other.
Ah.
A couple of honkies.
Indeed.
His wife honks at me, too.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
We're all honkers.
Bunch of honkies losing weight now that Trump's in there as opposed to the Biden era when everybody's all stressed out.
We're going to get some phone calls on that one like it really matters.
Yep.
All right, y'all be sweet.
Thank you, TS. See you, hon.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Should we hit a break?
I think we should.
All right. I think we figured this out, though. I mean, to a degree.
Yeah, it's accountability.
Yeah, but I mean, there's also, external stressors.
There are, but
yeah,
you manage them. I mean, you don't always have to have a cheeseburger.
And
every
it's
time
not
you get stressed
always
out.
like who's president or what the general racial climate is. It could be like you and the wife are happy and you're not trying to impress anybody.
Yeah, but if my wife and I really care for each other, once we get so large, we say, let's skip the cheeseburger and go have a salad.
Yeah, you could say that. But it's usually one person who wants to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. It's usually the skinnier of the
And that
two.
leads to tension.
It does.
Yeah.
But it also leads to, I care about you.
Yeah.
I don't need you to be such a fatty McFatty.
Yeah, right. Fatty Bombatti. Yes, right. Anyway, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. It's like you sort of, I don't care about that. I don't care about how I look. But again, it's not how you look necessarily. Because there are plenty of people who are skinny who are ugly.
Sure, but it's easy to go down that I don't care road. And that's where we are.
That's the thing.
It's a lot easier to go, I don't care. You know.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, we'll hit this break. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Here at Adams Drugs, we let our customers do the talking. I'm here with Ronnie Taunton, who was a longtime customer of Adams Drugs, moved away for 3 years, and came back to town recently. Ronnie, what did you do for another pharmacy when you moved out of town?
When we moved to Fairhope, we were looking for a local. We did not want to go to a big box store. And we did find one, but the service was not up to par. Adams Drug really spoiled us.
What was it like to come back to Adams Drugs again?
It was very easy. We picked up the phone when we got back, came up to Prattville and called the branch there in Prattville, and they took that phone call and did the rest of it. We didn't have to do a thing. It was very simple. We're glad to be back with them. They're so efficient and customer service oriented.
Come in to any of our 12 Adams Drugs locations. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net to find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs is your independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Mr. Electric.
We have that time of year where storms roll through, and a lot of times we're seeing a lot of power outages, in which we do install whole home generators.
We can keep your power on, absolutely. Generac generators.
Peace of mind knowing you always got standby power. About 30 seconds where you don't have power, and those generators kick back on like nothing ever happened. When storms roll in, sometimes the lights go out. But here at Mr. Electric, we'll never leave you in the dark.
Mr. Electric, the power to make things better.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. You're thinking of selling your home. Here are several ways to improve the look of your home and possibly the value. Number one, improve the curb appeal with trim bushes and cut the grass. Repaint the exterior where needed, and if needed, paint your front door. Number two, declutter the inside of the home by removing items that are not needed off countertops, dressers, and the den. 3, paint walls and trim where needed with a fresh coat of paint in a light color that will show off your home. 4, clean your oven and microwave inside and out, make it shine. Number 5, professionally clean carpets or shine the wood floors with a polish or Bona. 6, clean out all closets or unwanted clothes, shoes, belts, hats, and donate them to a local charity. Finish any leftover repairs now, doorknobs, light bulbs, and closet doors. For a complete list and an in-person evaluation and consultation, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Sundays are Lil Crumbs Days at Riverwalk Stadium. Kids can celebrate with numerous giveaways throughout the season, including t-shirts, a home run chain, croc charms, hats, and more. And don't forget to bring your favorite furry friend for Bark in the Park on Sundays, presented by WAKA Action 8 News. Enjoy Lil Crumbs giveaways at Bark in the Park only on Sundays at Riverwalk Stadium. For tickets and information, visit biscuitsbaseball.com or call the box office 323-BALL.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Pestruccelli, General Sales Manager and co-owner of Blue Water Broadcasting. For over 21 years, Blue Water Broadcasting has been a proud part of the River region. We're not just a company, we're your neighbors. Our owners, air staff, account executives, and support team all live right here. We believe in this community, and we stand by our slogan, Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. It's time to get those gardens ready. From seeds to plants to fertilizer, MPM has what you need. Shop MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays, 8 to 1.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We're getting hotter and hotter, and I think we'll be 90 or above for the next few days, probably at least through Monday. There's a little humidity, but nothing crazy. Good bit of sunshine today and partial sunshine on Friday. 91 today, 93 the high on Friday. We'll be in the upper 60s at night. Then over the weekend, I can't rule out a couple of pop-up storms somewhere in the area at random. Nothing like last weekend with highs around 90 both days. We'll be near 70 at night and lower 90s again on Monday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. This part of the program brought to you by a great sponsor, Pest Pro Services, and they're at Pest Pro, Ashley, and that fantastic team ready to help you with any and all your pest control needs. And they're doing a thing now where they get you on a monthly, subscription.
That's a good way to do it, yep.
And so they're on a regular schedule with you, where they're doing the baseline pest control services. They can also add to that termite inspection yearly and year-round protection. And then, of course, mosquito services.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And we're right in the thick of that right now.
That right now and termites, man. We were under a house the other day, and I saw one of those tunnels about 2 feet tall.
Oh, really?
2 feet tall.
Just trying to get there?
Yeah, and it's not making it there yet, but you could see it was coming. And one of the things that Pest Pro can do, they put down this like a plastic layer between the ground and the house. And that helps keep the moisture down, but also helps keep those termites away. This guy had to get it done, so, it would have been a lot cheaper if he did it years ago, but he did it now, and it's a good thing. But that's one of the things when working with Pest Pro, when they come and do termite inspections for us in the real estate world, they'll let people know, hey, you need to get this moisture barrier down. They're really good about explaining why you need to do something. And as far as prices go, they're some of the best in the business with that.
And they're very easy to work with.
Oh,
so again, whether you're looking for that basic pest control, termite protection, as well as mosquito protection, if you actually want to enjoy your property without being eaten up, y'all check out Pest Pro Services today. That number, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that fantastic team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. And Jeff Deist should be joining us at about 2 o'clock. Looking forward to that. Now, on the Bitcoin front, one of the biggest companies
I haven't checked it in a while.
Is Coinbase.
Yeah.
They were apparently victims of a cyber attack.
Oh, really?
But they've got a lot of security methods, so it's not that bad. And honestly, Bitcoin's barely reacting to it.
No.
Like, Bitcoin doesn't care. But you got to think, I've used Coinbase. Like, is it secure? Is it safe? Or do you want to self-custody? You want to get your own wallet?
Are any of them safe, Joey? I mean...
Right. And there is a solution to that. You can literally hold your own Bitcoin and only something you control. You don't have to hold it with a custodian like Coinbase.
How does that work? Like,
you have your own digital, or it could be like a thumb drive.
Okay.
That has and there are other services to where you don't have to have a long pass key. You do underneath it, but it could be like a thumbprint or different ways of only you can get into it. But still, if you put your Bitcoin on a thing only you can get into, and you forget how to get into it, you lost
guy that needed one more time to get his code, and he had how many millions of dollars in Bitcoin, and he couldn't get to it?
Right.
Yeah. Yeesh.
And there are a lot of stories like that. But here is the CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong. So when your company is attacked this way and being held ransom for $20 million in Bitcoin, you know what the best thing is to do? Just talk about it straight up.
Yeah.
And here he is. Let's listen in.
I want to make you aware of a disturbing email that we received recently at Coinbase. It was a ransom note demanding $20 million in Bitcoin
Which ain't much.
in exchange for these attackers not releasing some information they claim to have obtained on our customers. Now, we like to do things transparently here at Coinbase, and so I'm going to respond publicly to these attackers by saying no. We are not going to pay your ransom.
Hear, hear.
Good.
In fact, I have a few next steps in mind that I'm going to share at the end of this video. But for the rest of you watching, wondering what happened, we did an investigation here, and these attackers have been approaching our overseas customer support agents, looking for a weak link, someone who would accept a bribe in exchange for sharing some customer information with them. Now, our support tools have limited access to customer information. There was no passwords or private keys or funds accessed as part of this. But customer support agents do have access to personal information like name, date of birth, address, etc. And attackers still want access to this information because it allows them to conduct social engineering attacks where they can call our customers impersonating Coinbase customer support and try to trick them into sending their funds to the attacker. Now, unfortunately, they were able to find a few bad apples. Our systems are designed to mitigate the impact of something like this, so less than 1% of our monthly transacting users had their records accessed, but this is still unacceptable, and I want to tell you what we're doing about it. So first, any customers that were socially engineered as a result of this incident, we're going to reimburse them.
Oh, wow.
There's more details on our website, on our blog post.
It's a good way to step
about
up.
the reimbursement process. You can read more there. Any customers who have been impacted by this or have been notified at this point. Number two, we're hardening our systems around customer support to make something like this much more difficult in the future. And third, we're actually relocating some of our customer support operations as a result of this. But the last step is maybe the most important, which is that instead of paying this $20 million ransom, we're turning it around. And we're putting out a $20 million award for any information leading to the arrest and conviction of these attackers. For these would-be extortionists or anyone seeking to harm Coinbase customers, know that we will prosecute you and bring you to justice. And now you have my answer.
I love that.
All right, that's the way to do it.
I love that.
Fantastic right there.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it shows, I think Coinbase was just added to the S&P 500. So they continue to grow as a company, as a major way to get into Bitcoin. But you have another person entering into Bitcoin, another institution you might have heard of. You ever heard of this company? You might not know the guy, Jose Fernandez de Ponta.
Oh, Jose?
Yeah, you know Jose?
I know Jose Fernandez.
De Ponta?
I don't know if it's De Ponta.
But you know Jose Fernandez.
Yeah, I think I know 3 of them.
Yeah, but do you know the Jose Fernandez?
I consider them the Jose Fernandez.
Well, this guy is the general manager of blockchain, crypto, and digital assets for PayPal.
No, not the guy I know.
We're trying to do 3 things. We're trying to make sure that PayPal and Venmo are the gateway product to get more people into crypto.
No, it's not very loud, but they're trying to essentially make PayPal and Venmo the gateway for people to get into Bitcoin. So right now, Coinbase is pretty dominant in that.
I think, I know I've bought some Bitcoin through Venmo. I think at first that's how I ever bought was through Cash App. I don't know if I ever did it through PayPal. But, I mean, that was the, that was the easiest way to do it, yeah.
But now, if you got PayPal saying we want to compete with the likes of Coinbase or Cash App.
In that world at the time, PayPal was the king, and they weren't messing with it, and I think that's...
I don't use Cash App anymore because I don't think it's as secure as somebody like Coinbase. I think Cash App has a lot of scams like we just heard about. They don't talk about.
They do. I remember probably about a year ago, because lots of people I used, we were doing Cash App back and forth. A friend of ours got locked out of his Cash App account. There's $3,000 still sitting there, and he can't do nothing about it. Nothing can he do about it.
Right.
So, yeah.
272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Again, Jeff Deist, former chief of staff to then Congressman Ron Paul. He was also president of the Mises Institute over there in Auburn, Alabama. He's an honorary Alabamian. He's a true Alabamian now. He's been here 10, 15 years. Oh, how long has it got to be?
It got to be more than that. Got to be at least 20.
Got to be 20 at least?
20.
Okay, fair enough. That's
no,
fine.
I love Jeff. I think he's going to be a great...
in another 5-10 years, he's going to be right.
A great Alabamian, but right now he's still on parole.
Now, before we get to that, I want to fit in some more RFK Jr. stuff.
Ooh, he was doing some good stuff yesterday.
Oh my goodness! But this one is a little more serious.
Oh,
this is Senator Rand Paul talking to RFK.
Okay,
and well, they're going to lay out. It's not just the gain of function problems. You got a lot of other issues going on when it comes to, let's say, research that might be troubling. Let's listen in together.
Fort Detrick recently. My understanding is that a contractor intentionally slashed the hazmat suit or the biosafety suit of someone who's handling Ebola. You were immediately attacked in the press by saying it was just anti-science, once and then shutting down science. Was this a serious breach, and is it being investigated?
We brought in the FBI to investigate it. As you say, it appears like it was a deliberate criminal act to try to, that was a kind that is equivalent to attempted murder, because the kind of microbe, the pathogens that they were handling have a very, very high case fatality rate, up to 50%. The disturbing thing about it is that there are 3 leaks a week globally from BSL-4 labs.
Wow.
And any of those could be cataclysmic for
For folks who don't know, the PSL-4 is the highest standard of safety and security.
3 a week?
COVID got out of it was a 2 or a 3, I think.
3 a week?
Yeah.
Humanity, and as a result, we not only closed Fort Detrick, and we brought the FBI in to investigate that, we also declared the end of gain-of-function studies that will allow those kind of leaks to continue.
I commend you for that. I think ultimately legislation will be needed because the next administration could reverse it. I think there is bipartisan support for some controls on gain of function. As you shut down gain of function, though, you have to decide what it is, and then you have to look for it. So I would suggest that at both Fort Detrick and at the NBAC lab that's nearby, run by the DHS, that we look at experiments involving Ebola, avian flu, Marburg virus, to determine, one, whether they gain of function, but also just determine whether the experiments are wise. I am told in public records that they are doing experiments or have done experiments to aerosolize Ebola at the NBAC lab. That's the DHS lab nearby to Fort Detrick. My hope is that when you investigate whether to do gain of function or what is gain of function, what is being done, that you'll compile that and at least give us a report in Congress, and we're going to ask for it. But so there can be public scrutiny of these things. You will help to scrutinize it, but the whole public needs to know how dangerous some of these things are and whether we should be doing them. The idea of aerosolizing Ebola, I think, is or training Ebola to be aerosolized is incredibly dangerous, probably goes against the Biological Weapons Convention. And I'd like to hear a little bit about whether or not, as you investigate this, you plan on bringing information back to Congress or to the public.
Yeah, we're going to be absolutely transparent. I have a trip planned to Fort Detrick with Kristi Noem, the director of DHS, and with Jay Bhattacharya and other people in my agency who are experts on bioweapons, who are experts on gain-of-function research, and we are going to be absolutely transparent. We've also proposed a methodology for regulating and for determining what is dangerous gain-of-function and what is legitimate scientific investigation, and how to bring the public into that debate, which I think, as you point out, is absolutely critical. That is where we messed up last time. And as you know, we have some of the Democrats here who are, talking about the great science from NIH, but now we have the major agencies, intelligence agencies, the CIA, the FBI, the DOE, and the State Department have all agreed that NIH research almost certainly led to the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. So that's not the kind of the result that we should be allowing or enabling, and we're going to end that now.
Yeah, there's a lot of theater with RFK Jr. yesterday. But that particular exchange with Senator Paul made me go, if it's not this, it's something else.
What makes me think about,
My God, man.
So people were handling that Ebola, and somebody decided they were going to take out a knife and...
Yes.
Where's that person at? I never heard of this
They
before.
need to be in prison for a very,
Beyond
very
prison.
long time.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. And then real quick, here's another one. This is a little more theater, but a woman named Senator Hassan is going to try to play a character assassin with one of the colleagues that was hired on by Bobby Kennedy there at HHS. Let's listen into this together.
Hired David Geyer to lead autism research at HHS, an individual who fraudulently posed as a doctor and gave dangerous medications and medical tests to children with autism. According to the state of Maryland's investigation, David Geyer, who has no medical license or training, gave hormone blocker injections to children with autism who were as young as 8 years old, which the Maryland Board of Medicine said poses a substantial risk of harm. Secretary Kennedy, yes or no, will you fire David Geyer?
First of all, what you're saying is not true. And we did not hire David Geyer to manage autism research at HHS.
So what is his job? What is his job then?
You just said some very defamatory
Well, no,
things about a person who, by the way.
So let me just be clear for the record.
Those charges, Senator, I am going to correct the record on
No,
this.
let
because
me
you
just
have defamed
let me
a
tell you what the record says, and then I will hear from you. Last week, when Mr. O'Neill was here in his confirmation hearing, I submitted for the record the charge that the state of Maryland laid out. Now, if you'd like also for me to submit to the record with unanimous consent today the findings of the state of Maryland, which fined him $10,000 for practicing medicine without a license. He does not have a medical license, and for providing and instructing and giving children hormone blockers. That is what the finding of the Maryland Department, the state of Maryland, its medical licensing board was. And I'll submit that for the record, I hope with unanimous consent.
I'm assuming that you don't know what I'm about to tell you, or you wouldn't say something that was so dishonest. You may or may not know that David Geyer sued the American.
I do know that. I do know that. That doesn't change the findings, nor does it change the experience of the parents who testified.
That finding was reversed by court, and he was awarded $5 million.
That is not true. Now let me ask.
True.
So I just want confirmation. David Geyer is still at HHS. I wrote you a letter about this a month ago, and you have not responded.
Well, I apologize for that. That's our bad, and I will respond. But David Geyer is not managing autism research.
So what is his job? What is his job at HHS? This is somebody who gave parents the impression that he was a doctor and gave hormone blockers to children as young as 8, telling them that hormone blockers would somehow magically help their kids with autism.
His father was
his father is a doctor, but he is not. And his father was not in the room and did not, and he faked his father's signature according to the State Board of Medicine.
And that ruling was overturned by a court. So what you're saying is just wrong. It's just a lie. And they were actually, the court said that the Maryland Board of Physicians was guilty of actual malice in fabricating those charges against David Geyer.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
Wow. And he goes on to say, we didn't hire him to do the autism research. He was hired by an independent contractor to review the, safety logs, the backstop safety logs of vaccine injuries. Geyer was the only independent scientist, quote unquote, as RFK put it, who has actually seen those records. And so as they're doing the work under Kennedy now, trying to figure out what's in there, what's been deleted, they wanted to use, this independent contractor wanted to use the one guy who's him and his team had actually seen it, saying, what's been removed? What are you not seeing in the data they're giving to us?
So we'll go after him.
Yeah. Holy crap, man.
Yeah, buddy. It shouldn't surprise you. I enjoy the fact that they're calling him out.
Yeah. RFK held his own quite well yesterday.
Definitely.
But
and he's sounding better. I mean, not to be funny. He is sounding better to me. Yeah.
Well, we got to hit this break.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Russia and Ukraine set to hold their first direct peace talks in 3 years, but hopes for a breakthrough remain dim after Russian President Vladimir Putin spurned an offer by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to meet face-to-face in Turkey. Zelensky says he's sending a team to Istanbul to meet a Russian delegation. Few had expected the Russian president to show up. President Trump and South African President Cyril Ramaphosa scheduled to hold talks at the White House next week. The South African government announced the meeting. It follows allegations by the president, which South Africa denies, that genocide is being committed against white farmers in that country. On Wall Street, stocks now mixed. The Dow ahead 171 points, but the Nasdaq losing 41. This is SRN News.
Right now, with an important alert, home title fraud is one of the fastest growing white-collar crimes in the country. Criminals can make millions on your house without you even knowing it. Michael, you were one of those criminals?
Yeah, that's right. I was responsible for about $16 million in equity theft and title fraud.
Wow.
And to be honest, it was easy to do. It's just paperwork. So by the time you find out what's happening, the equity in your home is gone.
So how do you keep your property and equity safe? For more, here's Action News reporter Ron Stevens.
Well, Monica, an in-depth investigation found there's actually just one company that prevents this type of crime from happening: Equity Protect. Equity Protect scans, monitors, alerts, and most importantly, protects you from any attempts to tamper with or steal your home equity and ownership 24 hours a day. Other companies merely monitor. Equity Protect stops the crime from happening. Find out if you're already a victim or take a free risk assessment today at equityprotect.com. That's equityprotect.com.
Rich Thomas weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We're getting hotter and hotter, and I think we'll be 90 or above for the next few days, probably at least through Monday. There's a little humidity, but nothing crazy. Good bit of sunshine today and partial sunshine on Friday. 91 today, 93 the high on Friday. We'll be in the upper 60s at night. Then over the weekend, I can't rule out a couple of pop-up storms somewhere in the area at random. Nothing like last weekend with highs around 90 both days. We'll be near 70 at night and lower 90s again on Monday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
1819 News.
The Alabama Senate has passed the Back the Blue Police Immunity Bill in a 25-6 vote. The bill rewrites current laws to give officers civil and criminal immunity for actions taken within their discretionary authority. It also raises the legal burden for anyone claiming an officer acted outside that authority. Supporters like Senator Lance Bell says the bill strengthens officers' protections while also adding accountability and transparency. He emphasized that immunity would not cover reckless or rights-violating behavior. Democratic lawmakers opposed the bill. State Senator Roger Smitherman warned that the bill would endanger black lives. Governor Ivey says she plans to sign the bill into law. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
The mother of one of the 6 Sage Park shooting suspects has now been arrested. Authorities say that 32-year-old Katrina Enkham is charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor. She was booked in the Mobile County Metro Jail and released on bond. A detective testified that the teen used his mother's car to transport several alleged gang members to the park, which ultimately resulted in the shooting death of a bystander, Frenika Craig. A judge ruled that 5 of the 6 suspects will be held without bond under Anaya's law. And the former vice president to the First Community Bank in Coleman has entered a guilty plea to federal embezzlement charges. Kelly Johnson will be sentenced on August 12th and pay back $2.3 million in restitution. She's charged with taking $2.5 million from the bank over the course of 10 years. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Jenny King, the king of clean, delivers reliable, high-quality commercial cleaning services through a proven franchise model that empowers local business owners. Jenny King's franchise owners receive the training, support, and resources needed to succeed, while clients benefit from tailored cleaning solutions backed by a global brand. Jenny King ensures consistent results, trust, and success for everyone we serve. Go to JennyKingCleans.com and find out how we can help you. That's JennyKingCleans.com.
Jenny King, the king of clean.
Hello everyone, Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final hour here of the program. Plenty to get to that we have yet to touch on, including the new Pope's take on artificial intelligence. But I'm still kind of happy over a recent speech by Trump there in Saudi Arabia. I thought it was fantastic.
That was a great speech.
It really was. But I want to bring in a fellow that, well, we've gotten to know over the years, who's now a regular guest on the program. We missed him last week, but he's back. Jeff Deist, and of course, former chief of staff for Ron Paul when he was a congressman up there in Mordor for a little while, and then president of the Mises Institute for about 10 years now at Monetary Metals. Jeff, how you doing today?
Hey, Joey. Doing well, guys.
What do you make of the Trump speech in Saudi Arabia, in particular the word neocon coming out of his mouth? And he used nation builder. He called him interventionist and interventionalist at one point. But in the same week, to just give a little more context, you had Mark Levin on Twitter saying neocon is a pejorative for Jew. And now you have the president of the United States essentially saying, shut up, Mark, and anybody like you. What do you make of that speech he gave this week in Saudi?
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. I mean, it was music to the ears of a lot of us in Ron Paul circles who've been saying the exact same thing for decades now, especially since the early 2000s, the run up to the second Gulf War. I mean, I'd like to know who wrote it, first and foremost. I had a bunch of people text me to that effect. I mean, it sounds like possibly Michael Anton, if people know his name. He was the Flight 93 election writer, he originally published that anonymously, but was later outed as the author of that in 2016, I guess that was written. So, you know, the idea that he praised them for developing the Gulf region, you know, and saying it was the efforts of the local people here in their own traditions, in their own country that made that brought this part of the world up and out of, you know, poverty and what the Middle East was, let's say 100 years ago. Obviously, a lot of that is oil. Let's just be honest. But nonetheless, and the fact that he you know, explicitly said it wasn't because of Western intervention that you guys got rich, and you in Saudi Arabia, for example, became what it has become. So I thought that was something that no president really in my lifetime has ever articulated that clearly. And as for neoconservatives, conservative, it is a term of art. It's a defined term of art. Irving Kristol, who is the father of Bill Kristol, who still plagues us today. Irving Kristol wrote the definitive definition of that word. And it basically, you could sum it up as, you know, a former commie who is now hawkish on foreign policy, right? In other words, a former liberal who basically, because of the Cold War, became uncomfortable with the left's, I don't want to say overtures to the Soviet Union, but the left's, you know, perceived softness towards communism. And so these people of the left migrated to the Republican Party and to the right because of the threat they thought that the Soviet Union posed and what the Cold War represented. But they were never uncomfortable with big government at home. In other words, a welfare state to keep the masses placated so long as they could have their grandiosity and their nation building abroad. And the idea that America should be a unipolar force and it should run the world is really at the heart of their worldview. And to hear Trump say that publicly, I think was very important.
Yeah, and it seems like this might be a model for how he's going to continue to play the map there in the Middle East. And maybe this is the key to unlocking, say, the generational now conflict between Israel and the Palestinians. Like, say, removing sanctions on Syria, even though the guy used to be, I guess Scott Horton would say, a bin Ladenite head chopper. They're more saying, all right, we're going to stop it with our boot on everybody's neck. We're actually going to give these Sunni nations in particular the opportunity to do what Saudi, Qatar, what the UAE and so many others are doing. And I almost wonder, are they going to bring in sort of leadership and say this young generation just in Saudi to sort of help Syria to maybe say, you can even have this in Gaza. We just got to stop it with the fighting and the radicalism.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. You think even just 40 years ago, what were the Gulf state? What was the Gulf state region? I mean, it was nothing. And now you have, Dubai and Abu Dhabi within UAE, which are just absolutely remarkable. Qatar is far wealthier. You have places like Bahrain, which now have wealth. Oman has wealth. It's not what it used to be, and that's really within just our lifetimes. And so when we look at a place that seems pretty screwed up today, like Syria, and increasingly Lebanon, unfortunately, we say, well, my gosh, that's hopeless. Well, it's not hopeless necessarily. I mean, Lebanon was actually quite peaceable and wealthy up until the 50s, 60s, maybe even 70s. So, real change can come. And why shouldn't the president be trying to lead that? Why should we have endless conflicts in the Middle East? I mean, everything doesn't have to move outward in concentric circles from Israel and Gaza. I mean, I don't have a solution to that. I don't know anybody who does, but let's at least aim.
And sorry, you broke up there for just a second. I think we still got you, though. Yeah, and it's interesting. One thing I noticed, it wasn't just Trump in Saudi. It was like all the American elite and all the latest, tech people. And so it's kind of mind-blowing to think we're not only in Saudi Arabia. They just claimed, by the way, that I was a skeptic, especially after the Khashoggi stuff, how much are you actually going to change? They claim now that less than half of their GDP is oil-based. They're not bringing in tourism and all this other industry. So it's mind-blowing to see this conversation about AI in Saudi Arabia, number one. But then I'm looking at this and all the money invested all over that region, all over the United States into this AI revolution. I haven't asked you about this. What do you make of this move towards AI, and do you think it is the tech bros promise a lot of things? Do you think it's all good?
Yeah, I think it's all good. I think it's just the next revolution in software, the next evolution of software. I don't think it is going to have some sort of singularity moment. I don't think it's going to replace human intelligence. I mean, there's lots of points in history that we could look back on and say, people thought that was the end for X, Y, and Z. The development of the printing press, for example. Prior to that, monks and other educated, literate people had handwritten texts and reproduced them in that way, probably with their own editorial hand, we might say. And then you come along and things like the photocopy machine, things like the typewriter. I mean, and then you came along with the personal computer. A lot of people no longer have a secretary. They don't have we don't need transcriptionists anymore because AI does that for us. You don't need a secretary because you can produce your own documents. I mean, all these things have been huge changes, but they haven't thrown mass numbers of Americans out of jobs because the software industry, which barely existed in the 60s and 70s, became a huge thing in the 80s and 90s and even to today. So we don't know where the next generation of jobs will be. They'll probably be higher tech than they are, currently. But I don't worry about AI as something that's going to replace us because remember, all you have is the inputs, and those inputs are entirely human. And the decision as to what to focus on. In other words, I was looking at one of my daughter's textbooks the other day, and obviously it's a physical bound, bunch of paper. And so it had sections in it. I think I was looking at a section on the Napoleonic Wars. Some human had to make the decision to include that section on the Napoleonic Wars, as opposed to something else you might study at greater length or not at all. There had to be a choice there. So regardless of the information and the culling of kind of the hive mind of humanity that AI provides us. It can't filter, it can't make that decision as to what to emphasize or what to look into, right? I can ask it about the Napoleonic Wars, but at the same time, I'm not asking it about, some other element of, let's say, French history. So right. I don't know how you escape that human element. And I do worry that sometimes we do technology for its own sake rather than understanding how and whether it serves humanity. I don't think smartphones have been particularly good for humanity. But the flip side is that you have the entirety of human knowledge, at your fingertips in this little device, which right. has also tremendous upside. So I don't worry about AI in the social or civilizational or even spiritual sense. I think altogether it'll be a tool, and we can misuse it, but I still want the tool.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty remarkable how this is ramping up too. You're even seeing the boomers start using ChatGPT. The usage is off the charts, and all these other competing ones. And I use it now. I use Grok personally, and it's very useful for, say, analysis of writing. Like I can seed into it like 20 essays and get sort of a sense of like things that are implicit in my writing. It is not capable of writing for you. I think if there are students or people out there doing that, unless it's just like a quick, say, busy work or a quick response, it may work. But if you're actually trying to write with your own voice, it's not great at that. But it's, I don't know, I think it is becoming, you're right, another useful tool. I do wonder, though, David Sachs was talking about it at that Saudi forum, that it's becoming embodied AI, and also Elon at that forum talking about the humanoid robots. And I guess the same principle applies to what you just said, that, we still have to focus, what are we going to use these tools for? But there's a part of me that thinks, if you have humanoid robots doing a lot of just manual labor, I guess we can't really easily imagine the jobs for humans after that.
Sure. And think of, there's all kinds of things that robots already do for us in a sense. What's a lawnmower versus how grass was cut before that? There's all kinds of tools, and robotics are further along in places like Japan, where they have a demographic collapse, and so older people might need more tools in their home to help them cook or clean or whatever. We have robotic vacuum cleaners, and we certainly have had robotics in assembly lines in the United States for quite some time. So I think it's going to be interesting to see. And of course, with all tech, everything immediately devolves into sex, right? The internet immediately became a place for porn, and porn became, far and away, in the early days of the internet, the biggest, the biggest traffic. And so I'm sure people will immediately devolve into some sort of weird, sexual appetites using robotics as well. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have it to help us make cars better.
Oh, absolutely. And, you can imagine things like Neuralink, all these crazy, awful uses of microchipping people. But when you see the guy who was stricken with ALS and was nonverbal, and he can now interact with all sorts of people online, he can make videos, he doesn't have to sit in a dark room with the eye control sort of stuff. It's almost miraculous. And some of this technology really is magic. If you don't even, in most people, it's magic.
Yeah, I think that's true. And so we have to, I think, try to, keep it away from politics and let the market deal with this. I don't want to have, I don't want to try to impede it, because if we're going to have an industry, we might as well have America at the forefront of it.
Now, speaking of politics, and I know a lot of this stuff that's happened in the last few months is obviously no shock to you, because, you've worked up there, you've seen how, there have been big changes and good changes, but it's still Washington, D.C. And I am, though, disappointed. All the hype of DOGE, it seems it's been quite leashed. They weren't even able to get a rescission package vote on just $9 billion. Several Republicans in the Senate, not our two from Alabama, thank God. I was impressed with Tuberville and Britt on that, but you had 20-something saying we can't even cut $9 billion out of our, USAID money. And I'm looking at this, is it going to be one big, beautiful bill? Looks like they want to break it up into three parts and put the tax cuts for the working class as the third step in the three-step process. And I'm just shaking my head like usual. Washington, D.C. get in the way of a good thing. I mean, where do you think we go with this?
Yeah, there's no political will for cutting spending. I mean, if we can't cut USAID, how are we going to cut defense? How are we going to cut Social Security and Medicare? But those are the three things that really need to be cut if we're going to meaningfully address this budget thing. And so there's basically two choices. One is figure out how to develop the political will to make actual cuts, which seems unlikely at present. Or number two is you just get used to basically endless deficits and the idea that America can engage in deficit spending because of having the world's reserve currency and being able to issue treasury debt in almost unlimited amounts, and there'll always be a market for it. Now, that second idea is something I think is going to be tested and already has been tested in the sense that it is possible to hold a treasury market and have nobody show up for the auction. And we certainly saw during the crisis of 2008 that our own Federal Reserve Bank just decided, hey, we will buy up treasury debt. We'll be the backstop. We'll be the market. And so, it's a very, very tricky thing. And I don't know how you change American hearts and minds until maybe the baby boomers are no longer with us, because Social Security and Medicare are huge voting blocks.
Well, and you've seen a lot of people dependent. I think I saw it was an article you shared where like half of New York State is on food stamps and Medicaid. And like that doesn't at least signal to me, I doubt it does to you, a healthy society. And that's just one state.
Yeah, I mean, we think of the Great Depression in these sort of poignant scenes, black and white pictures of men on bread lines. Yeah. They're out looking for work and they're literally waiting in line for a bowl of thin soup and an apple or something like that. Well, we have all kinds of hidden bread lines in America today. They take the form of food stamps and other kinds of welfare benefits, SNAP program, WIC program, EBT cards, etc. And so poverty is perhaps more hidden from us because even the poor among us tend to have, oftentimes they have automobiles and cell phones and all that kind of thing, but it's still there. And it's very, very frightening to think about, I guess, what we could call the bottom 20%, the poorest 10 or 20% in America. And I think the difference between their day-to-day experience and the rest of us is starting to accelerate. I mean, it's getting worse and worse. And, it really brings into question all this stuff about GDP and jobs growth and this and that. I think most of that's just nonsense. I think Americans are hurting. I think the economy is not good, and we're gonna face up to it.
Yeah, and hopefully it's not too painful. To end on something that's stupid, just to be blunt, but it could be interesting. I just went through with my grandfather. He's like, I'd never seen Mission Impossible Beyond Mission Impossible 3. I'm like, well, there's like several films. We're watching this. And he's like, Tom Cruise can't be actually doing these stunts. So I showed him some of the behind-the-scenes things. Does this man, Tom Cruise, have a death wish? I mean, my God.
Isn't this guy 60 or something?
Yeah, he's 62.
Is he really? Yeah. No, that's pretty incredible. I'm not... I think he's going to be okay financially. That's my sense. Right. And, when they make 5 and 6 and 7 of these things, it's because 2, 3, and 4 sold pretty well. And so you got to hand it to the guy. And, if America needs anything, it needs just a feel-good summer movie.
Oh, here. And apparently the final Reckoning is coming out, I guess, next Wednesday. And he's having to top himself with every stunt, and they thought he almost died in this movie where he's like laying or holding on to in a biplane to the wing, and they're saying he's running out of oxygen. They thought he was like passed out, and miraculously the guy kind of gets back up and gets back in the cockpit and starts flying again. So if this is the final one, I think maybe he missed death right there.
Excellent.
Well, I appreciate your time as always, Jeff. If folks want to check out what you're up to, how can they do so?
Just follow me on Twitter, all one word, @JeffDeist.
Appreciate it, man. Do it again soon.
Okay. Thanks, guys. See you.
Again, folks, that is Jeff Deist. Always appreciate his time. Again, Eddie Bader here in the studio. I mean, did you hear about this latest stunt?
Yeah, but it's Tom Cruise. He's a Scientologist. They don't believe in death. So.
Right. But he He does his own stunts.
Yeah.
He was flying. Okay, I just want to read this.
Oh, I'm impressed with it. Don't get me wrong.
Tom Cruise's film crew on his latest Mission Impossible epic feared the actor was about to die after he appeared to pass out on the wing of a stunt plane over South Africa. 62-year-old was flying the biplane alone, was laid out flat on the wing after spending 22 minutes outside of the cockpit, 10 more minutes than safety guidelines allowed. This is his director reporting this.
Yeah.
He told a masterclass at the Cannes Film Festival. When you leave the cockpit of the plane, it's like stepping onto the surface of another planet, the director explained. The wind is hitting you in excess of 140 miles an hour coming off the propeller. You're breathing, but only physically. You're not actually getting oxygen. Tom had pushed himself to the point that he was so physically exhausted, he couldn't get back up off the wing. He was laying on the wing, his arms hanging over the front. We could not tell if he was conscious or not. Cruise, a trained acrobatics pilot, had agreed to a hand signal to show if he was in trouble, the director said. You can't do this when you're unconscious.
I was gonna say, those are hard to put up when you
To make matters worse, the plane had only 6 minutes left of fuel.
I knew it was going to happen pretty quick.
But the star finally stirred. We watched Tom as he pulled himself up and stuck his head in the cockpit so that he could replenish the oxygen in his body, and then climb up into the cockpit and bring the plane down safely.
So if you're Tom Cruise, when you get home that afternoon, do you just look at yourself and go, that's right?
You're effing Tom Cruise.
I mean, what do you...
Well, and the director said, no one on earth can do that but Tom Cruise. Asked about how he dealt with the fear, Cruise pointed to the years of preparation that went into the movies, which he compared to the workings of a Swiss watch. But in the end, I quote, I feel like the feeling of fear is just an emotion for me. It's something that's not paralyzing. I'm like, okay, that's exciting. I don't mind kind of encountering the unknown. This is what I dreamed of doing as a kid, he said. And apparently it was far from the only scare the pair had on the $400 million epic, the eighth in the franchise, known for its dizzying set pieces and heart-stopping action scenes. Wow. One of the new movie's most dramatic moments involves Cruise's character Ethan Hunt diving inside a sunk Russian nuclear submarine in the Bering Sea.
That's kind of hard to replicate in the studio there, Joey.
Yeah. The director said it took 2.5 years to build the set in London.
Wow.
Remember that when you're watching Tom inside the semi-submerged rotating room inside the submarine, that it is housed inside a 60-foot diameter, 1,000-ton, 360-degree rotating, fully submersible steel gimbal in a 8.5 million-liter tank. And he's inside it.
You've seen the helicopter training videos where they drop him in the pool and you've got to get out of the helicopter. As good of a swimmer as I am, just the anxiety of that would be tricky.
Oh, and it goes on to say, and what you're watching is us testing it because there's no way to test that
How
thing.
do you test it?
We built a model, we put a little plastic figure and a bunch of torpedoes in it and rotated it once and then smashed the little plastic figure.
Looks like it works. Good as it's gonna.
Neither Cruise nor the director McQuarrie would confirm or deny if the new movie was the final Mission Impossible, with Cruise calling it the culmination of 3 decades of work. Wow. It's one of the most expensive films ever made. Of course, they wanted to have it out earlier because of COVID lockdowns and Hollywood strikes, so it was held back. But the wait appears to be worth it, according to The Hollywood Reporter, which quoted critics emerging from the first press screenings calling it, quote-unquote, astonishing, jaw-dropping, and just insane, the best action movie of the summer.
Well, knowing that you know it's not CGI, that makes it a lot better.
Oh, and it is. It is.
I mean,
and
knowing
rewatching these recently, like, yeah, these are a lot of fun. Like, they're very formulaic.
Yeah, but it's
the formula's kind of refreshing. Like, it's a warm blanket. You're like, oh, we kind of know where this might be going. But then seeing, like, you're right, it's not CGI. Like a Marvel movie, everything's freaking CGI.
And just knowing that it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas it, like, no, that's actually him on the wing of a plane that nobody else is helping controlling. Yeah. Like, that's actually him.
So let me ask you this, though. Do you think, we don't know Tom, but do you think he has a death wish? His dream is to die making a film so he goes out on top? Or is he just living life, man?
think he's just living it.
That's what I
He's
think.
always just been this sort of guy.
Right.
He's an adrenaline junkie for sure.
Risky Business.
That's a great movie.
Best film he ever made.
I hadn't seen that in a while, but
Don't go back and watch it.
No,
Yeah,
he essentially
yeah.
becomes a pimp, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the story behind it. But I was real young when it came out, so it was an incredibly hot, erotic type movie.
Mhm.
But I've seen it recently, and I'm like, I'm gross. I didn't. These things in this movie should not have affected the U.S. the way they
Because
did.
everybody,
but
I'm
they
sure,
did.
remembers like him sliding in with the no pants and the socks.
That's
and
not the part that that was a great part. But
Mhm.
most people remember like the train scene and things of those.
I remember that DMSR, great song off 1999, is in that movie.
Yes, and when
It's
the girl
fitting.
comes and pays a visit. No, yeah, I mean, that's, as a young man, those are things that got
What
my
other
attention.
cruise movies? Obviously, the Top Gun movies, but then Cocktail. Now that's a classic right there.
I hate to admit it, but I like
That's a-
Cocktail.
that's a
I hate
classic.
it. Who didn't want to be a Tom Cruise type bartender then? I mean, I hate to admit it.
Yeah, the ones that aren't action movies, and then he had that weird period.
What was the one with the mask and stuff?
Eyes Wide Shut. It was Kubrick. I think it was one of his last movies.
I
if
think
not
I
his last.
watched 45 minutes of the
I've
movie.
still never watched it.
I don't understand what I watched. I don't get it. I guess I don't belong in that world because I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've heard people talk about this movie for years.
That's what the
Since
whole
I was
reason
a
I tried to
kid, I
watch it.
remember
Yeah.
my dad and mom, aunts and uncles being like, "We walked out of the theater."
I bet.
And I'm like, I'm wondering. So maybe I should watch it to be like, "What the heck is this?"
I wish
thing?
somebody would watch it that could explain it to me because this makes no sense to me.
Yeah, that is a bizarre movie. That really
It
is.
really was. And if maybe that's a world. It probably is a world that's out there. Wow.
Anyway.
Talk about not being in that club.
Yeah, and like what I just read, it's so cool and so insane that even just describing what he went through to do that stunt is remarkable.
Yeah.
Seeing it's going to be a whole other thing. So I think Jeff's right. Like having a good, fun summer blockbuster action movie to go to.
As long as it's pro-America, I don't want to see no.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Not in the mood for that.
Well, it's watching the lead up to it. This is a part 2 of the last one that's already out, called Dead Reckoning. So like it's a big setup for that, and of course there's all sorts of where all the governments suck.
That's the movies I'm good with, where all of them suck.
Yes.
There's not a good government.
Like
They all
this
suck.
is like we are literally vigilantes trying to save the world
Yes.
from some government getting this AI entity.
Those ones I can get behind. Yeah. Because I know all governments do suck.
Well, and I do love you get a lot of the original characters like Kittredge, the original guy who is giving them missions, and he's I think it's not the most important thing in life, but dadgum, it's fun.
No Talladega Nights, but I like to watch it.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health, and they're at Montgomery Men's Health. They're ready to help you fellas out. If you're feeling run down, tired all the live long day, you don't feel like yourself.
Right.
Your metabolism just is shot. Your sleep patterns. You're not getting rest. Like you wake up in the morning and you're still exhausted.
Yeah.
And
get 8 hours sleep.
you're haunted by like the younger self that you once
Can't
were.
figure out what happened.
Like you can pull all-nighters. You can power through. You could pull it off. Nope, not anymore. And you're never in the mood. You have no sex drive, no libido to speak of.
Right.
A lot of this, especially if you're experiencing all at once, and especially if you're a young man, it's not just like you're getting up there into your 40s, 50s, and 60s. It could very well be low T, low testosterone. And the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And they have low T treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health that can truly change men's lives. In fact, you could be feeling better the very same day.
Exactly right, Joe.
After treatment, men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, and you usually even notice an increased libido.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all right. And you can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years, and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Looking for a fresh, satisfying lunch? Look no further than Epicure and Jack's Tavern. Dive into their special lunch menu featuring 3 dishes for only $9.99 for seniors and $13.99 for others, complete with a drink and bread. At Epicure and Jack's, they pride themselves on creating every meal from scratch daily. No fast food, just real food that warms the soul. Stop by Epicure and Jack's Tavern today and savor the difference.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, where right now, get a load of this, listen close, you get a house full of carpet for $19.95 installed. Unbelievable. They're located at 6450 Atlanta Highway, just across from Walmart.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We're getting hotter and hotter, and I think we'll be 90 or above for the next few days, probably at least through Monday. There's a little humidity, but nothing crazy. Good bit of sunshine today and partial sunshine on Friday. 91 today, 93 the high on Friday. We'll be in the upper 60s at night. Then over the weekend, I can't rule out a couple of pop-up storms somewhere in the area at random. Nothing like last weekend with highs around 90 both days. We'll be near 70 at night and lower 90s again on Monday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
We're redesigning financial freedom at CB&S Bank. Make purchases at participating stores and restaurants using your CB&S Bank debit card through your mobile devices with Mobile Wallet. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for more information. Member FDIC.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
It's 334-272-9228. Did you see that the Pope's brother was on Piers Morgan? He's like, I, the brother, am definitely part of the MAGA movement. And he said, the Pope is not woke.
I didn't see that, but I've heard so much, I've seen so much, even the situationship that he was involved with at one point.
Oh, sure, yeah.
One of my favorite ones is when he was at the Cubs game. He looks like a normal dude. And they're like, this is the Pope, y'all. And you're like, no, it's just some dude. No, it's the Pope.
That's the Pope?
It's really the Pope. Duh, Pope.
So soon after his election, Pope Leo XIV revealed why he chose his papal name.
Oh.
And he noted that the rise of artificial intelligence was on his mind.
Okay.
Saying, quote, I chose to take the name Leo XIV. There are different reasons for this, but mainly because Pope Leo XIII, in his historic encyclical, I don't know the Latin, Rerum Novarum, addresses the social question in the context of the first great industrial revolution. In our day, the church offers to everyone the treasury of her social teaching in response to another industrial revolution and to developments in the field of artificial intelligence that pose new challenges for the defense of human dignity, justice, and labor. The new Pope's comment should signal to every Catholic, if you aren't preparing for AI and how it will impact the world, you should be. I completely agree with that. Because I think there is so much to all this that where it could go good, it could go bad.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I like that we now got a guy who's in there that can actually speak the king. So I know a lot of y'all don't respect all that stuff, and maybe you got good reasons for it, not respecting the Pope, but it is interesting to see an actual American being able to engage on the world stage.
And not only that, I mean, there's an influence, there's a pride thing for me that, we first one ever. I didn't expect it. I don't think many people had it on their bingo card. And Trump's tariffs are so good that they brought in a Pope from America.
And speaking of the Pope, both J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, both Catholic, will be attending the Pope Leo XIV's inauguration.
I got money on them not shaking that man's hand.
You sure?
I feel pretty confident in it. I know it sounds silly, but I don't know, Joey.
In an interview with conservative commentator Hugh Hewitt, Vance addressed questions about potential political differences with the new Pope. Vance said, it's very hard to fit a 2,000-year-old institution into the politics of 2025 America. I'm sure he's going to say a lot of things that I love. I'm sure he'll say some things that I disagree with.
Sure.
But I'll continue to pray for him and the church despite it all. So, it's going to be J.D., Marco Rubio, and the second lady, Usha.
Oh,
Vance.
Usha, yeah.
So we shall see. Enough about the Pope. Part of me does not want to go into this whole the big beautiful bill thing in Congress.
I'm just so disappointed in that whole,
Yeah, it's just infuriating.
It's beyond infuriating. It's y'all caught us stealing, but there ain't a damn thing you can do about it.
It really is.
And I'm just so sick of that, man.
It's sickening is the word. Absolutely the word. But how about this? I think I did find something here. This is, Trump's calling him a grandstander, or has in the past. Chip Roy, that guy from Texas.
Yep.
He is sounding the alarm bells, sort of the canary in the coal mine here. So apparently we're going to have a rocky road when it comes to reconciliation, as they call it. So this is a quick hit that was on CNBC just, I think, earlier today. Chip Roy talking to them. Let's listen in and see what he actually is talking about.
Republicans aren't doing anything about that.
Yeah, well, the President of the United States, President Trump, and his Secretary of Treasury Bessent, are doing a fantastic job. And the Secretary has laid out an objective of obviously getting our deficits down to 3% of GDP. Through strong economic growth, through the tax policy that we want to extend that the President put forward, I believe that's one piece of the puzzle that we must go do. But right now, we are not going to address the key drivers of spending that will make it impossible for the president and the secretary to achieve that objective. Bond markets are on a knife's edge. You know that, and I know that. And that is necessary for the free flow of capital to have that economic growth. If we continue to allow Medicaid to consume our budget and allow us to continue to drive that budget up so deficits go up, then we're not going to be able to achieve those objectives. Medicaid right now is now a $1 trillion higher baseline than when we came in under Biden. We are spending $600.
He goes on in his tweet to say, plus many of the decent proposals and provisions and cuts don't begin until 2029. And this is what they always do.
Yep. Kick the can.
Yeah, we'll cut in the back end of the 10-year window we're talking about.
Right. As far away from present
we
as
should
possible.
ban 10-year budgeting.
Oh, I agree. Because
Like,
what happens
you
at the end of it anyway?
Right. You're not honest about it.
And have
None
you
of y'all. Republicans, Democrats, none of y'all.
But have they ever got to that 10-year period and go, hey, those promises we made 10 years ago, guys, come on, we got to put them in? Or do they continue to kick that can right down the road?
It's absolutely infuriating. Now, here's the guy at OMB who's going to try to continue on with the doging of the federal government. This is Russ Vogt, but he's one guy. In many ways, you do need Congress, but let's listen in to him.
Editorial writers and news reporters, I think, have been over their skis with regard to me being named for DOGE. I'm doing two jobs. That's what I've been given the responsibility to do. One is OMB. It's an opportunity to do it for the second time, and one is the head of the CFPB. But we intend to take the DOGE agenda and the cuts and the momentum and the initiative and turn those into permanent savings. That's what we believe is our responsibility.
Yeah.
We're in the midst of the appropriations process. We got that budget moving forward, and we're in the midst of reconciliation to have significant, over $1.5 trillion in reforms to the welfare safety net to make sure that people are not improperly benefiting from these programs who are ineligible, i.e. they're also illegal aliens, 1.4 million just from the Medicaid program alone, and instituting work requirements in Medicaid in a fundamental way. These are paradigm shifts that we are now doing because of the work that's been done across the administration to put us in this moment.
Yeah, but it seems like Congress is scuttling all that work.
I think it's going to take the continued pressure, you, me, and everybody else screaming at them, because they can't handle pressure.
That's infuriating. How about this?
Sickening me.
This part of the program, again, brought to you by Josh and Leslie right there at Dylan Rings. If you've not gone to the Facebook page for Dylan Rings, you're missing out because there's another
beautiful on there.
Another made by Josh, another custom-made engagement ring, one of a kind, and it truly is beautiful. Of course, it doesn't have to be an engagement ring. It could be a fun thing. It could be a poignant thing. It could be whatever you can dream up. Josh Ryder can make it a reality. And, of course, that great inventory there that Leslie puts together with Josh, I mean, you're talking high-end pieces to everyday jewelry that still looks beautiful but doesn't break the bank or break your heart, say, if you mess it up while you're having fun out on the town.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. So I was with one of my sisters this last weekend, and she's got this, married a nice rich guy, so she's got this big old rock on her hand.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you do when you go to the beach? What do you do when you go on cruise ships?
Yeah.
She's like, I don't wear this there. She said, I got one made specifically that looks just like this.
Right.
Same weight, same everything. And she said it cost me $45. So if I lose it, I was like, well, that's kind of genius.
And so the point is that Dylan Rings, they have stuff that looks beautiful. You couldn't distinguish it necessarily from the really nice thing.
Yep.
But, it gives you plenty of options. Maybe it's like your daughter, your niece's like first piece of jewelry.
Ooh,
and you want to do something
nice.
fun in that regard. Or it could be you're looking to make that jewelry you love, you wear all the time, shine and shimmer like it's brand new with a spa treatment. Of course, they do repair work, including watch repairs, gentlemen. They do it all. They're a full-service jewelry shop. Stop by today, 119 Brown Springs Road, just off of Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit AlabamaSheriffsYouthRanches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
Hi, I'm Dr. Candace Cobb with HealthStar. We've enjoyed a long-standing relationship with our friends at Blue Water Broadcasting. The Blue Water team is a mainstay in our advertising not only because of the success of our campaigns, but because they truly understand what being a local business is all about.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This is Ashley, the owner of Pest Pro Services. Termite season is here. We are seeing termite swarms and activity all across the river region. We provide free evaluations for active termite infestations or preventative treatments to keep your home protected. Ask about bundling your services to save big. The termites don't take a break, and neither do we. Call or text 265-9990. That's 265-9990, or visit us on the web at ppsriverregion.com. And remember, when you want to know, call a pro.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Man, we are doing great. I have Angie in the truck with me.
Hey, Angie.
Hey, Angie.
I wasn't supposed to say that. Sorry, guys.
Why won't you let her do the ad, Ray?
She's not going to do it. Well, I was trying to give her a chance to tell Sailor happy birthday on the radio before I said it.
And?
She's still not going to say it. Mm-mm.
Wow.
It's her and Bart. I don't know why they don't want to talk to y'all.
You ain't kidding.
Well, I mean, there's a lot wrong with me. I admit it.
I agree, but
Sailor is 18 today.
18.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday, Sailor.
Happy birthday.
She's already signed up to vote.
Excellent.
Right off the bat. Came home all excited about that. Opened up her new credit card today so we can start working on her credit scores.
There you go.
And, yeah, big day in the Bowles family. But don't forget now, if it's not your birthday, you can treat yourself like it is your birthday and call Private Carpet for a new floor. Because everybody wants a new floor for their birthday.
Heck yeah.
Everybody.
Everybody. I think what I'm going to do for her birthday this year is give her a gift certificate to Private Carpet.
That's a really good idea.
I'll make it really expensive. Yeah.
$1 million.
$1 million gift card to Private Carpet. Well, listen, seriously, if y'all need a floor, call us, 285-8117. We'll be glad to come out and give you that free measurement, and then you got to move the floor down. Just that quick.
It really is, folks. And again, that number is 285-8117. When you call them up, be sure to say, hey, I heard Ray Bowles on the air with Joey and Eddie. And happy birthday again to Sailor. That's awesome.
That's right.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great day.
You too, Ray. See you, brother.
So, did we learn anything today?
Apparently, I'm a very closed-minded person, whereas I thought I was very open-minded.
Oh, about the whole Trump's making black women fat?
Yeah, I really thought I was an open-minded person until then, because I couldn't even...
I mean, I'm a little bit sold because I got fat during the Biden era.
Yeah, but was it because of your stress? Or
It might have been, and I was just eating my feelings.
Or could it have been, hey, Joey found a flavor he liked called sugar, and he just started ordering things that have sugar in it.
Like ice cream?
Yeah.
Like crumble cookie?
Oh, there you go.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Didn't you eat like a gallon of ice cream one weekend?
No, I don't do gallon. I do pints.
How many pints do you go through? No, let me ask you
if I'm making sense, I just buy one pint.
Do you ever eat the entire pint? Because I just did this the night before last. Oh, really?
There's no way I don't.
Really?
Yeah. I can't help. If I start on a pint,
you got to finish it?
I'm eating the pint.
Wow. I am getting old. I'm like 3 or 4 bites. I'm like, that's good. I'm going to save this for another day.
Oh, no. I went all out the other day where I hit the end of the mesocycle. And,
yeah.
or some fruity crap like that, which by that we mean Fruit Loops. And, no, it's like time to eat. Let's get some great like angel hair pasta with Parmesan cream sauce and shrimp all in it. And some extra garlic bread and extra sauce. Dip that in. But let me eat a whole pint of, my grandfather's got me on it, is cherry vanilla ice cream.
Cherry vanilla.
It's all right. Now, I'm usually a chocolate guy, like chocolate peanut butter, all sorts of different chocolate brownie, yada, yada, yada. But
I love all that stuff, too.
But that cherry vanilla, it's got this great flavor. I almost want to add nutmeg to it or something.
Really?
Yeah, it brings back Christmas memories. He used to make this punch that had cherry vanilla ice cream and Sprite and nutmeg and a few other spices.
Yeah.
You can put a little
like
whiskey in it if you want to. Yeah, it's almost like
yeah.
a Christmas, and it's very, very good.
I know that punch.
But yeah, I can eat if I want to, man. Like,
I don't know. We took you up to the steakhouse, all you could eat, and you were like me. You kind of bailed out early. Craig was the champion there.
Oh, yeah, Craig knows how to put it down, son.
He ate like 5 pounds of rice. Just
Yeah.
getting started.
I know. That was crazy. No, I ate a lot.
Oh, I did too. I remember feeling like, because we had to walk back to the car.
We got
I
the
kept
meat
going,
sweats, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially from that lamb.
Yeah.
Like the
Man, that was
picanha
so
lamb.
good, though, Joe.
And I'm still ruined. You can't find, like, some of the Indian places do good lamb here.
Yeah.
But it's not the same.
I haven't found like that.
You can go get stuff, cuts yourself.
I
but
can't make it like that,
no.
though, man. That was amazing to me.
Anyway. Yeah, we learned that.
Okay.
We learned that it's not manly to vote for Trump. It's only manly to vote for Democrats because, women like it or something.
I guess.
Not here in Alabama. Most of the women still vote for Trump.
Yeah.
Maybe we're doing something right. Anyway, let's get out of here.
All
It's
right,
Friday's tomorrow.
Yes.
Hopefully we're going to have the same fun energy tomorrow.
Oh,
Who
yeah, we
knows?
have Craig.
Yeah, who knows? But y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg Budell and Pamela. They're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM.